What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, and today is a day that has rocked the footballing world. It was actually last night.
Past 24 hours, let's say.
It's an absolute farce what's going on at the moment in football. It looks as though football as we know it is coming to an end, is dead, really, with the people with the money in football taking the power. And look, I'm lost for words. I really am, because I actually feel that our clubs are dying very, very before our eyes. I think Tottenham Hotspur, for one, is dying before our very eyes. And I think that people need to just stop and take a long, hard look at themselves and what they're doing to the state of football right now. Because pretty much, if things are going the way they're going, out of the Premier League, out of European competition, I know the Super League we're in, but it's out of European competition. It really is, because what does the league mean? Even?
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
I don't know what anything means anymore.
What does the league mean if there's no Champions League or Europa League? What does the league mean if European competition, if you can't go out of it, if you can't qualify for it? You know what I mean? What does it mean?
I don't know. I don't know what anything means anymore. What the whole beauty of earning your place at the top table is that you've got there through merit for a long, hard season, the season before, and you've earned your right to be there. To just buy your way there and say we're part of the league because of who we are. But first of all, Spurs are absolutely nothing on the pitch to justify being an elite club in the top table of European football, to giving a God-given right to be there. We've done absolutely nothing to justify that. And the whole beauty of earning your place there is that you feel like you've achieved something, and just to be there every single season, like what it's like. So basically it's like the league or nothing now. Like either you're going for the league or what are you going for? You're not going for anything. There's no chance you're going to get anywhere. What is top four? What is Champions League?
Nothing anymore.
There's nothing. What is the rest of this season? Like, what am I even watching now in this league? In the league, we're going for to finish as high as we can. Who cares? No, it means absolutely nothing. We're already guaranteed a place at the Super League, and it's cutting off so much opportunity for clubs. Yes, you could argue that opportunity was already cut off because of the big financial gap between the top teams and the teams below, and that's absolutely true. And that was a big problem. This is exacerbating the problem. This is making the problem 10 times worse than it was before, and this is not solving the issue in any way, shape, or form. And it's absolute disgrace what these 12 clubs have done, breaking away and gone rogue and decided we're the elite and we're going to go our own way and we're going to give ourselves 300 million pounds a season.
Does Daniel Levy and ENIC have to say that Tottenham are one of the elite clubs anyway? You know what I mean? It's an absolute joke. And the way things are going in football, it's making me so disillusioned with everything going on. And obviously, another bit of news that have come out this morning with Jose Mourinho. We're not even talking about that. And I couldn't even look in the week building up to this. I was like, all right, yeah, Jose out.
Oh, there you go.
Jose out. But it's happened this morning, and I really couldn't care less. And
I believe this announcement from Mourinho here, from Spurs, this is the official, by the way. This happened. They announced this 34 minutes ago. The club can today announce Jose Mourinho as coaching staff, Sacramento, Nuno Santos, Carlos Lalin, and Giovanni Kehrer have been relieved of their duties. I do believe this is a PR move. I know you could say it was coming, blah, 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 and that's probably true. But I do believe the timing of this announcement is very clear and it's very obvious for everyone to see. This is a massive PR move due to the reaction yesterday of the announcement of the European Super League. They now thought, okay, seeing as we've got pretty much the majority of the fan base against us now, we're going to try and gain some popularity by sacking an unpopular manager and maybe gain some support. But no, I can see right through you, Tottenham. I see absolutely right through you. This is a complete PR stunt, and to distract from the issue that we're selling our soul. And we're selling the game out. And we're taking on football. It's a war against football right now.
And the rumors coming out this morning about Jose Mourinho apparently not taking his players into training was completely false, wasn't it? Completely false.
All bollocks. That's a complete fake. Not that I know for sure what about it, but the tweet that everyone's retweeting, so that's completely fake.
And I just want a message to Daniel Levy and ENIC, because throughout the number of years now, people have been calling out ENIC, calling out Daniel Levy for not having the team's best interests at heart, only caring about lining their pockets. Well, I'm sorry, but those fans have been proved exactly 100 million% right today. And Daniel Levy and ENIC, you need to get the hell out of my football club, because you are a poison. You're an absolute poison. and I can't stand to look at you anymore. And it's making me so, I can't stop saying it, but it's making me so disillusioned with life in the Premier League and football. I mean, the whole thing is, I'm questioning everything right now. And I don't even know if I want to go to this cup final this weekend.
I
I'll
don't
tell
know
you the
what,
truth.
honestly.
I promise you, I don't even know if I want to go to this cup final. What does it mean for the rest of this season in the Premier League? What these games are? What are they just going to be 6 or six friendlies to go?
West Ham and Leicester fought so hard and have been amazing throughout the whole season. They've overachieved, and it's all for nothing, pretty much. It's all for nothing. It doesn't mean a thing. And yeah, we can all laugh at them saying, "Oh, West Ham, blah blah blah," but it means something. Yeah, okay. Going into the European Super League, getting £300 million pounds a year, of course, from a selfish point of view, this is great for Tottenham because, yeah, we don't have to qualify. Yeah, we're going to get all this windfall, all this money. We're going to join the Europeans elite. That's so selfish. That's so self-centered.
They've spat in the face of the whole fan base.
No one is
literally just shat in the face of the whole fan base right now.
Anyone who's looking at this from a selfish point of view is not looking at the bigger picture, is not seeing the game as a whole. You're seeing it from a Tottenham perspective, saying, "Oh, this is good for Tottenham. We're going to get the money."
Our beautiful game is being ripped away from us, and I promise you, anyone with a voice right now needs to come out and speak. We need to team up with the Supporters Trust. We need to team up with other fan channels of other clubs that are in the same boat. We need to stand together, and we need to stand against these stupid, horrible money men in football because they make me sick. Let me just go through a few super chats we've got here. One from Nabil Jamali saying, "Do you think Levy used Jose's reputation to boost the club's name and gain us a place in the Super League? Seems mad to sack him the day after it's announced." What would you make out of that?
I think I was part of it. I think I was all in the pipeline when this was made. I think the reason we're in this Super League is all down to Pochettino. You can't. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It's nothing to do with Mourinho. It's got very little to. It's got a bit to do with Levy.
Does it speak volumes that PSG and clubs like that aren't in it?
Yeah, they clearly have morals. They clearly have they're taking a moral stand, and the 2 German clubs as well.
The German clubs are a different case because German clubs in Germany are owned a lot by fans, a high percentage by fans. I think 51% by fans. So they would never let this happen on their watch.
Exactly, and that's why. That's the benefit of having fans involved in the decision-making process, unlike in England where it's all just
money men.
Exactly, people just think about the money, and we've got ENIC controlling the club, and they're obviously going to go for it. And I think hiring Mourinho was definitely a big part of that. And I don't know, maybe keeping him on longer than he should have maybe is part of it as well. I don't know. I'm very disillusioned with that whole thing. They have sacked Mourinho. They have got rid of him. Very curious timing. Just the morning after the European Super League is announced. It's very telling.
But let's just make it clear that Ryan Mason and Chris Powell will be the managers for the rest of the season. I mean, I said Ryan Mason till the end of the season as a joke last week.
And now it's a reality. We've got Ryan Mason leading us in to a cup final this weekend. Yep. Fun.
Ryan Mason.
Not to disrespect Ryan Mason, but the
guy's never managed a game in his life. What do you mean, not to disrespect him? Obviously, we love Ryan Mason as a man and as a footballer, and what he brought to Tottenham Hotspur. But he should not be managing Tottenham Hotspur in a cup final. Never mind in a one-off Premier League game.
Yeah, he has done nothing to merit that. And yeah, I get like.
And we were talking about bringing in Scott Parker, and he hasn't done enough in his managerial reign.
For Scott Parker.
You know what I mean? We got another super chat here from Mintu Lee. Says, "I don't like the American bank poke their nose in making the leagues in Europe. I'm disgusted that Spurs chose money over everything in football. And I respect Jose deeply and more than ever."
Yeah, a lot of few super chats coming in. Nabil Jamili says, "Do you think Levy used?" Oh, that's what he said before. But there's another one here, I believe, from
Levy and
DS.
Enoch,
yeah, Levy and Enoch need to go out now. Now we will be like an NFL team, never pushing to compete and sitting on our laurels, collecting guaranteed ESL income. Paul give Klopp time, Jose get none. Xavi in. Not about Xavi. I'm not sure about Xavi. I hate Marmite. Has the curtain finally been lifted to what's been going on behind the scenes? It's time we protest. Don't buy merchandise. Get these thieves out.
100%. 100%.
We have to stand in strong opposition to what's being proposed to be taken from our game.
Do you think that that this can still collapse, this Super League thing?
No, it's going to be, look, they've all committed to it. They've all left the European Commission now. It seems like it's going ahead. They don't give a shit what we think. They don't care. They don't need us. They don't need us.
Yeah, because they're going to have the North London derby out in Qatar.
Exactly.
They're going to have
They
Spurs,
do
Barcelona
not need us.
in LA. They're going to have, you know what I mean? None of these things are even going to be in Europe.
Look at this. I don't know if you saw this. I'll show it to everyone on screen from Dan Rowan of the BBC, which I was particularly disgusted with when I read this. Let me see if I can find it. One sec. He was talking about how the discussions have been surrounding this European Super League. Here it is. I'll get it up for you guys and I'll read it out. Where is it? Share screen. This made me want to puke reading this. One sec, just coming on screen. It says, according to a source, some of those involved in the European Super League call traditional supporters of clubs legacy fans, while they are focused instead on the fans of the future who want superstar names. The European Super League insists modelling shows solidarity payments will be boosted 10 billion euros over 23 seasons. Legacy fans? Are we legacy fans? Is that what we are? We're just fans of the past. We don't mean anything. We're just the fans who built up this, helped build up the club, and now we're being left behind. Our opinions not meaning anything. You know what it feels like? It feels like the fans at the moment are like that CEO of a company who built a company from the ground up and then elects a board of directors, and that board of directors votes him out of his own company. That's what the fans feel like right now. It's an absolute disgrace. None of these top clubs care a shit about the fans. None of them give a crap about what the fans want. No fan was consulted about these European Super Leagues. They've all gone by themselves to go off their own back to do it. And it's an absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace.
They care about nothing else but lining their own pockets. These people are poisonous. We need to get rid of these people. And you know what I mean? Like UEFA, not exactly the angels, you know what I mean? And we're all backing UEFA over this, and we've all hated UEFA for years.
No, to be honest, I think UEFA have a lot to do with what's happened.
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah,
I think UEFA have kind of made this bed in a way.
You're right.
But it doesn't mean that the clubs have the right to do what they're doing. Absolutely not. It's absolutely exacerbating the issue that was already in the game. And UEFA and FIFA have to obviously, I think, take a look at themselves, because they've caused this issue by how they've run football pretty much for the last however many decades or so. But doesn't mean that these clubs have a right to snap control like this. You remember how long ago was it when they nearly did this in the Premier League, the top six? Remember? That wasn't long ago.
Did they?
Yeah, because there was a massive backlash. They were. It wasn't even long ago. It was during lockdown, when the Big Six tried to propose that
that thing. Yeah,
they become stalwarts in the Premier League. They become founding members of the Premier League,
yeah.
And then everyone else basically fights to come in it. And there was and they promised more money down the pecking order. I think we were including that as well.
Yeah.
And there was big proposals, and that obviously got shelved because there was widespread criticism. But the difference is now we've got the whole other European clubs involved, and they're all banded together and say, look, let's not give a shit what the fans think. We're just going to do this. We've got enough fans in the US. We've got enough fans in other countries to basically overcome any sort of dissent that would come from the fan bases. It doesn't really matter what these fans in England, who match-going season ticket fans for years and years and years, who is their bread and butter, who live and breathe the game, who live and breathe the club, who love their own club, who it's their life. This is them, but they don't give a shit about them. It's like they think the game was passed them by. The game doesn't belong to them anymore. The game now belongs to us. It blames the money. Man. Let's not even have fans in stadiums. Let's. Who cares about fans in stadiums? Don't need fans in stadiums to make money. It's all bullshit, man. It's all crap. It makes my blood boil.
People: Florentino Perez, Daniel Levy, Joe Lewis, Stan Kroenke, the lot that are Liverpool, Henry. What's the guy's name? Glazer. All these people need to be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of themselves.
What we think. They do not give two shits.
Let's just go through these super chats, and then let's start getting some people on. We got one here from Jan Bihel saying Super League doesn't care about real fans. They just want to attract Asian and US fans.
Exactly.
It will not be about passion anymore, just about entertainment.
Yeah, about getting the big players. Like this whole culture of, you know, the transfer window being the big thing, and oh look, we signed this player and that player. Who cares how they perform? We got him. Oh, that's what actually matters. A bit, you know, the clubs sign transfers now for marketing purposes.
It's like these big players going to the MLS. That's what it's like.
Yeah, clubs nowadays do not sign players to, or a lot of clubs anyway, like Man United and probably Spurs as well, don't sign players to improve the team. They sign players for marketability. That's why they sign players. And this is what it's feeding into. It's feeding into fans who just want to see superstars, who don't really care about going week in, week out. They just want to see the big names. They just want to see these big fixtures, and they couldn't care less about the sport. They don't understand
it. They don't get what it means to be part of a fan base. They don't get the sense of community. They don't understand that they're dealing with people's livelihoods right now. It's not just you go to a game for 90 minutes and you walk away for a bit of entertainment. That's not what going to football is all about. Going to football is all about being part of a community. That's what it's all about, and they're taking
they're ripping the community out of it.
They're ripping it out, and we've got a super chat here from Bats about Bats Bristol. Been a Tottenham fan since the Glenn Hoddle years, but I can't stomach this. Going to support Bristol Rovers, my hometown club, and wait for protests to be arranged by the supporters trusts. Enoch out. And look, I can't disagree with that. Enoch out. Super chat here from Carmelo Borg. Didn't write anything, but we appreciate your support.
A lot of opinions flying in.
Yeah, a lot of opinions flying in. Let's
Chris Davis, timing suggests Nagelsmann as part of a dub deal with Sabitzer, but stop buying, tapping him out. Look, all this stuff, like, I can't get my head around that stuff now. Like, people saying, oh, we should have kept Jose, or it was right to sack Dark. I'm so happy we sacked Jose. Like, people celebrating that we've sacked Jose Mourinho. I get it, you're happy that he's out of the club, but who gives a shit about that right now? Honestly, it's a complete distraction. It's like you're being hoodwinked right now by Daniel Levy and the board by the sacking. If that's what you're focusing on right now,
fans need to make a stand right now. They need to stand up for what we believe in. We need to stand up against these money men in football,
and we've got to stop being selfish and thinking about ourselves. Yes, essentially, this is for Tottenham Hotspur as a football club, as a club who want to be part of the elite of European football. Obviously, this is not I
want to earn my right.
Exactly.
I want to earn
That's what football's about.
I want to earn my
achieving
right.
things, about earning your way to the top.
It's
not about getting there.
Bill Nicholson will be rolling in his grave right now. Bill Nicholson, the club that he built, will be rolling in his grave right now.
I don't want any part of this.
Absolute disgrace. Enoch and Daniel Levy, they need... Oh, man. We got a super chat here from Mick Lee saying a pandemic has proved to these billionaires that they can make money without fans in stadiums. Watch football become pay-per-view. It's just greed. One here from Cyan saying, please don't believe the news of the legacy fans. That was just clickbait.
Yeah.
I am not for the idea of the ESL. And another one...
That was from Dan Rowan with the BBC, who has a lot of sources, and like, I don't think he would tweet something out if it wasn't very, very reliable. So to say that is just clickbait.
And another one here from Malpani, Sultan Van Malpani, saying, would you consider switching support to a Bundesliga club after this? Seemed like that's the only league that respects the fans, and I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. Another one here from Jordan Stevens saying they announced a sacking now to take any attention away from the unacceptable decision to take part in the Super League. Get them out of our club. They're toxic.
And why do you think they've done it now? Like, just after all this money windfall has been announced, because it's now viable to sack Jose, because who doesn't really matter now that it costs all this money, because we're just going to get a windfall of 300 million.
Carmelo Borg says, question for you lads. What are you going to do about season ticket renewals? No Spurs fan should currently renew.
Great question.
And I 100% agree. But the thing is, the problem is, season ticket renewals won't matter to them anymore. They don't care about season ticket renewals anymore. It's not going to hurt them. The only thing that's going to hurt them is coming out of this Super League. I mean, the Super League are giving them enough money that they don't need to worry about fans anymore.
Why? Why do they need fans?
They don't need to worry about fans anymore.
More super chats. Let me see. Malapani, would you consider switching to a Bundesliga club after this? Seems like they're the only league that respects fans now. Yeah, look, respect to Bayern, respect to Dortmund, respect to those clubs who've rejected this proposal and stand by their morals. But the reality is, it doesn't matter that they rejected it. Like, it doesn't matter, because if this is affecting the whole fabric of football, the fact that everyone else is involved. So,
another super chat here from Josh Andre saying the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. We need to do something, and yes, we do. Yes, we do. Let's get Grandpa on. Let's get Grandpa on.
Okay. Where is he? Still there? There he is.
Hi,
Grandpa.
Hi. Oh, there's two pictures now. All right. Okay.
You're there.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Lots to say. I've got lots to say. It's very, very interesting, and reading what the press has been saying. The reason for Mourinho going seems to be confusing, but it's less valuable now than to talk about this elite group. Yeah. I think it doesn't help to be angry, and I think we should stop being angry and we should start being creative. And actually, we want to win this. As you know, I've been working in the leadership space for years now. 25 years I've been working with leaders, and this is a failure. This is a total failure of leadership. And what's happening all over the world in businesses, employees of businesses are going on the board, and we should be doing that. Our fans should have a presence on the board and have their say, just like they're doing in Germany, which is obviously why Germany hasn't gone into this. It's what they're doing will destroy football if we allow them to do it. I'm not sure whether it's not a big plan to get FIFA to change, but we have to stop it, and we have to stand up, all of us together, and stop it. That's the first thing, and then we have to say, well, change is needed, but as it is at the moment, it's not that bad. At least we have competition. We have small teams going up into different leagues. It goes all the way through football, right to the grassroots is competition and wanting to win and being able to do the best football to win. And creating an elite group, which doesn't matter whether they win or not, they get their money, just is not right. And I don't think it's worth doing. And I think as far as We Are Tottenham TV, we should be standing up and getting together with all the other bloggers, all the other fan clubs all over the world to protest. I think we probably have to renew our season tickets at the moment, but I think that should be on the, we should be saying, yes, we're doing it, but we protest to it, and we want to see change. Because not to do it now will actually not give them the money to actually be able to work at all, and we'll definitely not have a say. So let's keep together, everybody, all your people that come on, get them all to protest. Find a way of getting the protests together into one thing, so they can all go to government. I mean, you know, I heard this morning Boris Johnson saying he was against it. Let the government support it and help us as well to actually not being an elitist. I mean, it's not only saying we're elitist in football, it's saying we're elitist country. You know, I think Germany and France haven't come in. And I think, you know, it's a nonsense. It's a Brexit.
Yeah, literally. That's literally what it is. And Grandpa, what do you think, like, the consequences of this kind of implementation will do to the game of football as we know it? Like, if it does go ahead as it's been proposed?
Well, if you see my tweet, which is getting quite a lot of following, I think it's grotesque. It'll ruin it. It'll destroy football in this country as our major sport. It'll move to rugby. I mean, rugby have a much better system to control the prices and the fees and all that sort of stuff, and people will move to it. They'll move away from football. They won't want to play because there won't be any incentive to play if there isn't promotion and
Relegation.
There's no fun in that. The fun
And
is about winning and moving upwards and playing better football
and earning your right to be there.
Earning your right in terms of skills rather than money.
100%.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
And I think it's awful. And I don't. I mean, Mourinho. That was moving ahead. What Mourinho has to do with it, and whether it's true about him not taking the players out.
Apparently, it's not true, Grandpa. Apparently, it's not true.
No, but I saw one article on the Spurs site on news saying that the reason they sacked him was because he wasn't backing the players and publicly denouncing the players.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think over the last few weeks, Mourinho has made the decision that he doesn't want to be there for whatever reason. I mean, because he's been very, very strange, his behaviour and the way his press conferences have been like, he's been smiling and jeering, and it's not the Mourinho, the hard, tough Mourinho that we've seen in the past. And I think maybe it's always been his game, to actually get into a club, have a good contract, and then make sure that he gets sacked, because that's a jolly good way to earn money.
Yeah, I mean, he's how much money has he earned just by getting sacked throughout his whole career, Grandpa?
That's right. Well, it's huge. It's huge. It's more money than he's probably earned, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I call that dishonest earnings.
Yeah.
So, we've got to look at it. We've got to stand up. We've got to get more leadership. We've got to get more fans involved in the organisation. And I think, We Are Tottenham TV should actually motivate everybody rather than put anger out there, put positive ways that we can actually improve our football and possibly improve it as going forward, and have a place in there to actually put our views. What I'm hoping is in the next few matches that they'll actually listen to the players, because I think the players themselves could put out the best team if they were actually consulted and say, how are we going to beat City, how are we going to beat Southampton, and get their views as well. And maybe Ryan will do that. I don't know, but I would hope he will think like that, because I think they know better than Mourinho.
Yeah, but what's even the end of the season mean for us if we are already in this Super League? The challenge for top four and all this kind of stuff. Does it all go by the wayside? Does it even matter where we finish? Could we lose every game from now to the season without any consequence?
I would make the assumption that it won't happen. I would make the assumption it would be, and that's what we should all be shouting, and that everybody is, and they all are, right up to the Prime Minister. Even the opposition have came out saying they're against it. So I think you'll find that there'll be a huge...
do the clubs care? Why would the clubs care when they've got all these fans
they will care
from other countries, and they don't even need us fans anymore. They're calling us legacy fans, apparently, according to BBC sources. Apparently we're just fans, match-going fans, which they don't even care about. They're looking at the future younger fans who just want to see superstars all the time.
Yeah, Sim, that's one article. We've got to stand up ourselves and be positive. We love football, we love the club, and we want it to be better, and we want to help. And we've got to get together, all of us, every single Tottenham fan at least, because Tottenham is the only one that's all English club, isn't it? All the other is back from abroad.
Yeah,
that's why one of the reasons they should not have agreed, and I'm against them agreeing, obviously, but we've got to fight it all together so that they don't do it, and we've got to vote for it and get thousands and thousands of people to sign a petition.
We need you as chairman to head the protest, Grandpa.
We Are Tottenham TV.
Yeah,
we are, exactly. And
get out some sort of petition. Get it done, under our heading. Or the group of you that are bloggers, but get it out there and get it to every single fan of all the teams, not just Spurs, but Spurs as well. I think two separate things: one for Spurs, saying we shouldn't be in it, and one to say it's a nonsense doing it. It's going to destroy football in this country.
Completely agree, Grandpa. Completely agree.
And to do it now, when football clubs have been suffering so much from the smaller clubs, really suffering, and to do this is absolutely, in my view, criminal.
And can I just read? Did you read the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust statement on this announcement from last night? I'll read it out because I think it's a pretty strong statement they put out. It said, Tottenham Hotspur was the first British club to win a European trophy. We blazed a trail that caught the imagination of fans everywhere. Yesterday, the current board of THFC betrayed the club. It's a historic, it's history and the magic that makes this game so special when they put their name to a statement announcing the formation of a breakaway Super League. This statement, signed by self-appointed leading clubs, was put out on Sunday night. It was made not only after no consultation with supporters, but in the face of clearly stated opposition to key parts of the announcement. We always tried to maintain a pragmatic position of engagement with the board of THFC, even under the most trying set of circumstances, but enough is enough. The current board is prepared to risk the club's reputation and its future in the opportunistic pursuit of greed. One of England's most famous clubs could find itself expelled from the English league competition. Its players could be banned from international competition, and yet the current owners, mere custodians of a 139-year institution, are prepared to risk it all for the avarice and self-aggrandizement. We demand the board immediately disassociate itself from the breakaway league. Only then can meaningful discussions about change take place. If the board does not do this, we will have no choice but to call on new owners prepared to safeguard the past, present, and future of our great club to step forward and work with us.
Yeah, I heard him on the radio this morning at about 8:30 from that Foundation Trust, and I sent you an email saying that I think we should join.
Yeah,
it's one of the ways. Join these organisations. It doesn't cost very much, but so that you can all work together, and possibly under that Foundation Trust, we can do the get the numbers, because it's not about our engrandments. It's about the engrandment of football. We want it to continue, and we want it to be better. But as it is at the moment, it's still exciting. It's still good as it is at the moment. It's not the best, because there's not enough money going into the ground roots, and people are being paid too much money, and only the rich people get the players. That's got to be changed. But let's do that slowly and properly. Rather than this way. And I think that's why I want us all to be positive about change, but to dismiss this as grotesque is the word I use. And the more you guys get that thinking, and all your friends, all the bloggers, and all the people that you know, the more you do that, the more is going to be better for football. So I'm fully on side, and I think it's very important for this country. It's not only football; it's all social activity. Is so important. Keeping fitness, keeping health and wellness, it's all important. And football is our tradition. It's our main sport. We can't ruin it.
And what could this do to the match-going fan who does have a season ticket, who's had a season ticket for 45 years, who's been going to every week in, week out, up and down the country to Spurs games for like years and for decades? Like what kind of message and what does it do to that kind of fan when this gets implemented?
Well, we just mustn't let it get implemented. That's my point. Those people that we've got to. I think we've got to probably renew our season tickets. But because if we don't, then we lose all the history, and I think it's important that we do. But at the same time, we should actually lead a uprising of fans, and it does matter to them, because even these large American companies are putting it in so that they get a return, and they'll only get a return if people go to the grounds and pay for the season tickets. They
The thing
won't
is, I
return,
think
it's not worthwhile.
I don't think they care about that anymore. I think they're getting so much money from this Euro Super League that the money from the fans is irrelevant now.
They get 300 million a year, which
Yeah,
by
but
comparison,
the people that are investing in that to give that money want a return on their money. They don't do it for nothing.
But the fans, whether you get fans in stadiums, if you kind of get your everyday match going fans, if they stop going, you're going to have random people that are going to turn up to these events anyway. I mean, they're going to pack the stadiums regardless.
I think we should just let's fight for it. I don't think you'll get season ticket holders. I think if it's not complete, it won't have the same excitement, and we'll make sure it doesn't.
I agree with you. It won't have the same excitement, but you could end up having Spurs against Arsenal in Qatar or Saudi Arabia or America or something. You know what I mean?
Difference to them.
Yeah, but you're worrying at the moment about what might happen. What I'm saying is, don't let it happen to start with. Let's be, is that the positive side of it? If you look at the negative side all the time, everybody will know the negative side on any football lover will. Because it's interesting. The first bank came out today. It's JP Morgan said we're prepared to invest in this elite group.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
why? They're only interested in return, and I don't believe they'll get a decent return if all of us fight against it.
All right,
that's my message to you guys.
Absolutely,
whatever I can do, whatever We Are Tottenham TV can do, we should all get together with every punter that's on side with this, and there are. You've seen the tweets going through. I was watching it on television before as well. Everybody is coming out. So just get them together. Get some proper, maybe getting one or two of the, the companies that do these research companies. You might get a company that supports Spurs that will actually do it for you. But get together and find it and do it properly and do it strongly, because you could get 2 or 3 million fines.
Yeah, I think we've got to plan this properly, but definitely something does need to be done. You're 100%. Yeah, 100%.
We've got to do it properly, but we've got to do it quickly. We've got to do it now.
100%.
And all we can do with Tottenham now is just carry on supporting them, the team.
Yeah.
Just thinking in your head, I'm supporting the team. I'm not supporting the management.
Yeah, I agree with you, Grandpa. But we got a lot of guests to get through. But thank you so much for calling in. Very powerful stuff. Let's keep going.
Nice to see you, Grandpa. Thank you for your message. I'm sure it'll be heard loud and clear by the fan base.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
All right. I'll speak to you in a bit. See ya. Oh, where is there? We go.
Let's just go through a few super chats here.
Got a lot of super chats.
Yeah, Genwell Bolandra is saying, for those who are happy with this Super League because of UEFA, FIFA, and domestic associations, this Super League is a problem. Why replace a problem with a problem?
A problem with a bigger problem.
Dermot Moyle saying, what would Bill Nick think? The players... Oh, I've lost it now.
Who's that? Who's that saying it? Yeah, what will Bill Nick think? The players should all go on strike. We all need to stand together. I've been a Spurs fan for 40 years. Should Sunday game be called off?
It shouldn't be called off, but there should be protests going.
Definitely.
We need to organize something. We have to.
Let's be real. The new stadium was built for non-football events as a priority. That's another, not what someone else is saying. Kieran Jones says, I'll be back supporting 100% my hometown club, Mansfield. Come on, you Stags. Winner says, has anything been said by any players? Nope, we haven't heard a peep. I think they're all just processing the Jose news as well. I don't know what, if I was a player, what I would feel right now. Look, in all honesty, if you're a player, especially for a player for Tottenham, yeah, obviously, maybe you should care from a moral standpoint, but players are selfish and they're going to think about themselves, and I don't blame them for that, because in your own livelihood, you're always going to think about yourself and what's better for you, and it's a good thing for them. So I don't expect them to be making public statements or anything like that. EB says this all started years ago when they forced fans to sell up their shareholdings in the club, including myself. Fans forced out, unlike German league. Josh King in the super chat. He says UEFA and Premier League are part of the problem here as well. The only reason they are against this is they are scared to lose money. Send the link, lads. Yeah, we'll send that to you, Josh. But yeah, no, look, I completely agree with you. UEFA and the Premier League are massively part of the problem. But this is an even bigger problem. This is the clubs themselves stealing them, taking a power grab and saying we're bigger than the rest of the league. We're bigger than the best of the football pyramid, and we're going to seize power for ourselves and sod everyone else. And that is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. That's not what football's about. That's not what the game is about. And that's not what I enjoy about the game.
They're ripping out the very essence of why we fell in love with the game.
Exactly.
That's what they're doing.
Exactly. And I don't want to see NFL style like leagues. I don't like that. In America, you can't get relegated or promoted. There's no stakes to anything. If the Spurs in the Super League are 18th with 10 games to go, who cares? I'm going to see Tottenham versus Barca, Madrid. Well, who cares when we're bottom of the league and there's no stakes? We're not getting relegated. We're not getting promoted. There's nothing to it. So what am I watching? I'm just watching Tottenham get battered or just meaningless games. They're basically glorified friendlies at that point. So what's the point of watching? There's no point to it.
Competition from football. That's what they've done. They've ripped out the competition.
And that's all. And yes, you could say that they're like right now in the football pyramid, because there's such a big difference between the top teams and the teams below in terms of monetary, that even though it's possible to get to reach the top, it's all an illusion because you're never going to get there without money. And that's all true, but you can't just write it in the rules that you're never going to get there now. You can't write that in the rules. That is different,
At the end of the day, when the Premier League got formed, a lot of people came out about it saying, oh, it's just to keep the big clubs richer, blah, blah, blah. But at least you gave the opportunity for teams to come up into the Premier League. This way, what are we doing here?
Writing it in the rules that there is no opportunity.
You're writing in the rules. I mean, there's opportunity, for 5 teams to come into it or something?
And then every year,
but the founding members cannot be relegated from it. It makes no sense. Alexander Gomez with the super chat here saying, football is dead, folks. It's officially called soccer now, per ESL specifications. Sad. Aaron Stenlake says, I think a piece of information that is that all players participating will be removed from the Euros or World Cup. Players aren't going to agree to play in the Super League.
I disagree. I don't think the bodies will have the balls to do that. I really don't, because everyone's saying, oh, the Premier League will relegate these clubs and stuff. Like, the Premier League's over 70% or 75% of the Premier League's viewership are these top clubs. They're not going to relegate them. They're not going to risk ruining their own product. It's like they're not going to cut their nose off to spite their face. They're ultimately they're in it for the money as well. Yeah. And they're not going to turn around and say, okay, let's relegate Man United, let's relegate Liverpool.
Have the Premier League made a statement yet?
Yeah, they've stood up against it, but when push comes to shove, will they relegate these teams to the 5th tier? I think it's all just a threat. I think it's an empty threat at the moment, because they won't. Because who's going to tune in to Premier League football when the biggest teams in the league are Leicester and Everton and West Ham? No disrespect to them, but that's not the key viewership of the Premier League. And they're in it for the money. They're in it for the views, and they're not going to relegate. They're going to be shitting themselves if they're relegating these clubs and losing all their viewership from the Premier League. If that was the case, yes, they can threaten it all they like, but I don't think they'll have the balls to do it. Look, if they do have the balls to do it, then fair play to them, because that is putting their money where their mouth is.
Something's got to give here. Something.
They won't. I don't think they will. I think it's going to get pushed through.
Let's keep going with the super chats. We've got Kieran O'Donnell saying, became a Spurs fan through loving football. How can I support a team that is trying to destroy everything that makes the game we all love? Colin Lunsman saying, one way of taking money away from the Super League is to find what TV companies will be showing these games and cancelling subscriptions. Callum Carr says, Porto, Celtic, Ajax, to name a few, have won 19 European Cups. City, Spurs, Arsenal, Atletico Madrid have won 0 yet. And we are in the so-called European Super League.
We have no right to be amongst these teams. No right. What have we done? We've won 1 League Cup in 20 years, and we're a part of the European Super Elite. We won the double in 61.
That was still.
We're a part of the European Super Elite. It's an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke.
Sebastian Finn saying, this is a game of chicken. The Premier League will not get rid of the Big Six. It will be too much of a loss, whilst the Big Six would not leave the Premier League. Cellar Dweller says, it's unbelievably dark day for football. Too sad to comprehend my childhood team doing this to their fans. Supporting your home team is not a choice. It's a livelihood.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And they're ripping it out of us. John Rose says, so Enoch and Levy care more about money than the fans. In the other shock news, water is found to be wet. Absolutely spot on. Colin Lumsden says, when are we going to see the players in a yearly draft like NFL and NBA? I hope this league never happens.
Let's keep getting some fans on because we've got a lot of people waiting here. A lot of people have stuff to say. Let's get Eden Cooper on.
Let's get Eden Cooper on. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Eden.
Hi, Eden. You're right, mate.
Yeah, I'm just as disappointed with the news as everyone is. It's just shocking, honestly.
Yeah, okay. Look, we're absolutely ashamed at the moment, or me personally, I'm absolutely ashamed right now by how Spurs have reacted to this and how we've joined this band of teams who have pretty much gone for a power grab in the game that we all love and are trying to change the game as we know it to take away competition. They're trying to kind of monopolize the European football competition for themselves and sod all to everyone else. And yes, I've seen fans, a very, very extreme minority might add, but I have seen fans, probably generally younger, in some general support for this because it does help Tottenham join the elite and it helps Tottenham be where they want to be, but not like this, not at the expense of the game itself. And that is what I'm absolutely against.
Yeah, I agree with you. And probably, yeah, these young fans are happier than we are because they probably they don't have the experience that we have, and obviously you that are older than me with the club, going to away games like, I don't know, to the smaller clubs, Fulham, Southampton. It's all part of the beauty of the Premier League, of English football.
Exactly.
Going to weird away European games, that's the beauty of football. We don't want to play Madrid, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus every other week. What's the point?
It'll get boring. It'll get boring if you keep doing it every time.
The special thing of the Champions League is you have those amazing games once a year, and once every 5 years, the club plays another club. Like, for example, the semi-final, Chelsea against Real Madrid. It's the first time these two clubs face each other in the history of the Champions League. That's the beauty of it. To have games that we never see, it's what makes the Champions League magic. And I know UEFA they have done some rough stuff in the past, and they're not like saints in that point of view. We all have our problems and issues with UEFA, but what these 12 founding clubs want to do is just even more disgraceful than what UEFA has ever done. And to do this during these times is even worse because people and companies smaller than football clubs have been starving, have no money. And what these football clubs are doing, they're not trying to help the poor. What they're trying to do is to make themselves even richer, which is just disgraceful. It's just, honestly, and to do that to the expense of us fans. We haven't been in stadiums for over a year now, and we might go back to football to watch games that we don't even want to go to watch. It's just, honestly, it's so depressing. And how Tottenham have behaved, it's even worse because, yes, now we are a big club with Real Madrid and the Barcelonas, but probably 10 years ago we wouldn't be in this conversation because, yes, we've always been in the top 6 of the Premier League, but I'm not sure they would have considered us. So we should be part of the clubs like Leicester who have grinded their way to being at the top level. Because Spurs, 10 years ago, we weren't even in the Champions League. We've never been in the Champions League. We grinded. We fought our way into the Champions League. And why should we have the opportunity to have done that, and other teams, they shouldn't have the opportunity? It's just ridiculous. Like West Ham, we're not fans of West Ham. We're rivals with West Ham, but we feel for them because they fought to be at least in the fight for the Champions League. And now they probably won't even be in it. And if they will be in it, it will be a Champions League without the top clubs. So what's the point?
Exactly. Well, what is that? What kind of competition is that? It's just an absolute nonsense. That's what it is. And
it's shocking.
And it's pathetic. It's an absolute power grab from these top clubs.
It's all done because they want the bigger money from the United States, from Asia, and all. I mean, I respect those people, obviously, but they don't know what football is for us. For us, football is going week in, week out, following our team home and away, and trying to get that momentum in the league, in the season, to then reach something, not to fight for. There's no promotion. You can't get relegated. Like, what are we even playing for?
Exactly. What is it? What are we playing for now to the end of the season?
They're
Absolutely
all just
nothing.
playing
It just
for
doesn't
money.
matter.
And
And
I
why?
know-
And also, why would Tottenham invest in their squad now? Like, what reason does Daniel Levy or Enoch have if they weren't going to invest before to get into the Champions League? Now they don't even have to invest to get in the Champions League. Now we're already there. So why bother pumping millions and millions of pounds into the playing staff when we're automatically in the Super League? What's the point? We're just there. So why bother?
It's shambles, because like the whole point of sports, but the whole point of life is to earn your way into something. And they're not even just going against football, sports in general. They're going against life. It's just, and we were complaining about Spurs players not putting the life. Josie said something like this: they weren't acting like human beings on the pitch. Like, why should they if the main people in football aren't putting the basics of life into organizing football? Like, I can't believe we're actually having this conversation. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. And one more thing I'd like to say. I know, Sim, you said that you don't believe that the players will stand up and go against the clubs. And I kind of agree with you, but I think they're our only hope. The fans and the players are the only hope. Because, yes, the fans, we're bigger in number than the players, but the clubs, they don't care about us fans because they're going to have the money from the rest of the world. Obviously, we should continue in our protests. I'm totally with you with that. But I really hope that the players, they just stand together against this, because yes, they are paid by the clubs, but I don't think they want to get their reputation ruined, because yes, they are paid by these clubs, but they're also followed by millions and millions of fans. And if they go ahead with this, they will be hated just as much as the clubs. So I really hope that the likes of Harry Kane, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, the big players stand up, firstly, privately with the clubs. They have a talk with the clubs. They say what they think. And then if the clubs don't agree, I really hope they say, whatever, we ain't doing this. So the clubs without the players are nothing. We say the clubs without the fans are nothing, but they're even less without the players. So I really hope the players just do something. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's my only hope, honestly.
Eden, we need to stand up and be counted for. We need to make our voices heard.
Yes,
we need to protest. We need to protest at this final. We need to protest outside that stadium. We need to get our voices heard, and we need to put an end to this. We have to make our voices heard. I can't stress it. I can't stress it enough.
The sacking of Jose Mourinho is completely like second to all of this. Like, I read it today, and I thought, like, during these weeks, I was like thinking of this day, like when Jose was going to be sacked, if I was going to be sad or happy or angry. I don't feel anything. I don't know if you had the same feeling. But
I completely agree. I saw the news and I was like, I don't even care. I don't even care.
I promise you, Eden. I promise you, Eden. This last 2 weeks, I've been dying for Jose to go. I've been dying for Jose to be sacked. I've turned on Jose completely. But when I heard the news today, I literally could not care less. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, and I could imagine, like, I'm not sure why he got sacked. If it's because now Tottenham got the money to sack him, or if he walked away because of the Super League. I think we should all know the reason why, because
100%.
But we all know that we're not going to know it, because we didn't know it when Poch got sacked. We're not going to know it now. And if he got sacked just now because we got the 30 million to sack him and we wanted to sack him after Zagreb, that's a disgrace, because we're not even treating, at the end of the day, Jose is a human being. He was probably planning in his head what to do against City. And now just because we got the Super League money, we're going to sack him. That's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and a lot needs to be answered for. But Eden, thanks a lot for coming on, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Nice to see you, Eden, man. Cheers for coming on.
Speak to you soon. Come on, Spurs.
Cheers. Come on, Spurs.
Let's go through some more super chats. Paul Gregory, I don't want this league to happen. However, if it is to happen, I'll be glad we are one of the teams in it, man. Come on, man. You've got to
think
look at
of the bigger picture. I understand a lot.
I do. That we're in this abomination.
I do get what these fans like. These fans are thinking about, like, it's better that we're in it than not in it. We don't want to be left behind. And I get what you're saying, but look at the bigger picture. It's going to ruin football. It doesn't matter whether we're in it or not if this goes ahead. Football will be ruined as a game, as a sport, as a spectacle. So it doesn't really, it doesn't matter to be glad. You'd rather be in it than out of it. You're not looking at the bigger picture. You're thinking of just about Tottenham. You're thinking about how it will affect us as a club. And
it's the end of football as we know it.
Exactly.
It's the end of football as we know it.
So it's whether it's better to be in it or not in it is irrelevant, because the whole process happening is very, very bad. It could be the end of it. It could be the end of everything.
Another super chat here from Brad Matthews. Sadly, I think this will go the same way as the World Series cricket. Fans will be initially outraged, but then get used to it. Football stolen by the rich. And
I
you
agree.
know what?
I think that's what's going to happen.
You know what? I think he's absolutely spot on there. Because
I think they're going to get all this outrage now from us and from people, and we'll be protests. Then people will move on, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger has been talking on TalkSport about the whole idea. He said, I would say it's a bad idea. Football has to stay united. That's the most important thing. And based on sporting merit and overall respect to the history that has been built through European history, I believe personally that this idea will not go far. So Wenger believes that this isn't going to get pushed through, but I don't know. I think the fact that everyone's left the European Commission, all the top clubs anyway, and the fact they've all made public announcements now that it's official, it's happening. Like, I don't know if there's any backtracking on it at this point. It'll be very, like, all these clubs would have massively egg on their face if they all backtrack now at this point. So I don't know. It looks like it's happening to me
at the moment, yes, but things can change.
Things can change. But I think at this current moment, look, Liverpool, Spurs, they're not part of FIFA and UEFA anymore. They've left it. They've left the European Commission. So to rejoin that would be a massive U-turn at this point. Massive.
Colin Lumsden with the super chat saying, we support our clubs, but a lot of the new fans support celebrities. So they are more worried about being able to see the biggest players. Oh, man, this is all such a shit show right now. Is there any more? I think that's it.
That's it for the time being.
Let's get Alex Samuels on.
All right, let's get Alex Samuels on.
Hey, guys.
Alex. I mean, if we thought the post-match fan shows over the past 6 months have been bad, this has, oh my God, this is like all of them put together, rolled into one. This is like our worst fears ever imagined. I mean,
I think, where do we start even? Last night, I think when this came out, I think clubs try to do this every so often. You know, they all say, we're going to form Super League. Whenever the new UEFA plans are announced, it's kind of expected. But what's interesting this time, and what's changed, the fact they have branding, the fact that they have a formal announcement by the clubs, that has really solidified it. And as you just said, you can't backtrack. You can't. It would be so embarrassing for these clubs to do it, and to be the laughing stock of football if they're not already, to be honest. But I honestly, I'm struggling for words. I see one big reason why Tottenham have done this. From a Tottenham perspective, it's to add money onto the selling price. Because if you're not part of this super group, whatever, then you're not going to be worth as much as the club. And I know Tottenham say they aren't for upsell, but I'm telling you, they 100% are.
Alex, why would they even want to sell now with all this money? There's no kind of view of this money ever going away. This is money, this constant money that's going to be coming into the club every single year now. With the
can't be relegated from.
Can't be relegated. So why would they need to sell? There's a constant stream of millions and millions and millions of pounds coming into this club now. What reason do they have to sell?
Good, brilliant point. Maybe they don't. That's up to the Joe Lewis at the end of the day, whether he wants to or not. But look, I just think that you can't have a competition with no competition. There is no incentive whatsoever to put money into the squad. If you think they haven't put a lot of money in the past 10 years or whatsoever, just you wait for the Super League, because we're not going to win the Super League. We're never going to win it. And we can't be relegated. So as everyone's pointed out, it's just friendlies at the end of the day. It's just friendlies. And I'm just so disappointed in this club, but not surprised, really. Not surprised. And Alex, what the hell are we doing in there, to be honest?
Exactly. But when you look at you and us, we saw each other a lot of times at the stadium, go week in, week out to Tottenham Hotspur. What does this make you think about renewing your season ticket or going next year or to the cup final? I know if you were going or not, but what does it make you feel about going to football now?
I don't know. I don't really know. It's a weird one. It's not something I processed, whether that, I think that decision each fan needs to make individually, whether they want to support this or not. Because the problem is that for every fan that doesn't renew, there's 10 fans waiting to take their place. That is the realistic position of where football is at the moment. So, and I don't know. And I think I hate to call us real fans, because every fan's a real fan, but you need passionate fans in the stadium who can deliver their opinions in the stadium once we can get back in. And actually, that brings me on to another point. How disgraceful this is taking place when fans aren't even allowed into the stadiums. It's
without fan consultation.
The Tottenham Hotspur Trust were completely ignored. They even said in there, what was so telling in their letter was that they had multiple meetings. They have meetings with the board all the time. Wasn't brought up once. This completely blindsided them, which is so disgraceful. And
it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, Alex. And you know what? I promise you now, I'm just completely lost for words. I don't even know what to say anymore. The pure greed by these people, by these Florentino Perez and the rest of them, Daniel Levy, Enoch, Kroenke, Glazers, Henry, all of them, the absolute greed by them. I never thought I'd see the day. I always thought this Super League was just going to be hearsay and just talk. I never thought I would see the day this was going to happen.
I kind of disagree. I think it was actually going to happen at some point, because you just had to see the way football was going.
Maybe it was just me being naive. Maybe it was just me being naive, but I never thought it was actually going to happen.
Apparently, let me just. This is quite telling as well. There's apparently these are quotes revealed by Sky Cava Solikol, who's a reporter for Sky Sports News, and he's said he's got quotes from an unnamed board member at one of the top 6 clubs who have obviously in the breakaway league. He says our primary job is to maximise our revenues and our profits. The wider good of the game is a secondary concern.
Oh my days! Oh my days! That's it. That's it. Plain for you in black and white writing. That is it.
Let's go home. Let's go home. We might as well.
Tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know.
Legacy fans. Legacy
fans. We're legacy fans, Alex. We're legacy fans. That's all we are. We're fans of the past.
We're not the future.
Yeah. On the way out, exactly. We're not needed anymore. We've been outgrown. The club have outgrown us, apparently.
The pandemic has done this. That's the problem, because they've seen no fans and saying, we can all go Super League and make the money back. Doesn't matter. We don't really need.
They don't need us. They don't need us. Why bother?
Before the pandemic, we always wondered, it's been a debate. Do they actually need the fans? Maybe not. No, they don't need us. Might as well just go home, to be honest.
Yeah, they don't need our opinion on this anyway. Exactly.
I mean, it's just disgusting, that quote which you just read. And if it's from Sky, it's obviously true. So,
well, I will caveat this by saying that Sky do have a vested interest on making sure this doesn't happen. So,
very good point.
Quoting an unnamed source from one of the top 6 club from an anonymous source could very well be playing into their agenda that trying to turn the fans against it. But it's very much believable that is true. No one should be any under illusion that UEFA, Sky, BT, all these companies, they are all as bad as each other, right? They are all as bad as each other. And obviously, Sky and BT have a massive interest in this, because BT have paid for the Champions League rights. And if you don't have the top teams playing that competition, then you're in an awful lot of trouble. Sky as well, if the Premier League is suddenly like, what's the point of us competing in the Premier League anymore if we don't go for top 4 or anything? There's literally no point. The games becomes all about Super League if there is any competition element in there whatsoever. So there's no point in Premier League. So Sky loses out. And I'm sorry, UEFA and FIFA have an awful lot of responsibility of this as well. They're part of the problem, actually. Massively.
They're claiming to be on the side of the fans. This is absolutely. I'm doing a dissertation at the moment on Qatar and Russia and the World Cups and stuff like that, and it is fascinating speaking to people about what actually happened with that, and learning all about the corruption and everything. And it keeps going, to be honest. And I feel like this was going to be the next step. Look, if there was some sort of agreement, UEFA are not fit for purpose anymore, and clubs actually unanimously decided that perhaps they did need to be overruled with some sort of way where clubs can agree on a Super League, and there's a competition element, relegation, etc. I think perhaps we might be more open to it. But I mean, you're losing all the history of the European Cup, of course, which is a negative. But at least there's some sort of debate there over whether this is actually, a good thing. But I'm sorry, this is sport. It's all about competition. You can't have a competition without competition, and this is what this is. So I blame UEFA for a lot of this. They're absolutely useless.
And Alex, you've been on for, I don't know how long you've been on for, about 10 minutes, and you haven't even mentioned Mourinho being sacked. What does that even tell you about the state of where we're at the moment?
Oh my god! When I woke up and my friend texted me and said Joe Sat, I was like, I literally said, "Oh my god," out loud. It's weird timing for sure. I'm not going to get too conspiracy theorist on it. Over whether
Come on,
this is
Alex,
a PR move.
bring on your best conspiracy theories.
Tinfoil hat time. I don't know. This is literally peak Tottenham, peak Levy, if this is true. But I don't think that. I'm not too sure it has any consequences, because apparently the decision was made on Friday. If not for a couple of weeks, they've been probably thinking about it.
But it's just weird. Why sack him in the build up to that cup final and put Ryan Mason and Powell in charge for it?
I mean, look, we all love Ryan Mason.
Apparently that's unconfirmed, by the way. Alistair Gold just wrote an article saying that those reports of Mason and Powell taking interim charge are, as of now, unconfirmed, and that's not true just yet.
So my theory on this is that, and maybe I'm getting a bit conspiracy theory here, is that if there is all of the timing to this, and if there are pieces of the jigsaw which go together, this is what's happened. I think that if we are going for a manager like Nagelsmann as our next manager, and Bayern have said they don't want to be in the Super League, I think that gives us an opportunity. We know that Bayern want him as their next manager, and if we are serious in getting him and we see him as our next manager, then Mourinho potentially had to go now. I'm not too sure. I don't know. But it is weird for a cup final. It is.
Yeah, just for a cup final.
Look, it's crazy that I spent a while on here and barely mentioned Mourinho, that's the thing.
The state of the game.
Simply, to be honest, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Who I feel most sorry for? It's West Ham fans, it's Wolves fans, it's Everton fans, it's Leicester, those clubs. Yeah. It's those clubs I feel really sorry for today, because those are the ones that are being robbed of football, essentially.
Their achievements.
We're the bad guys in all this. We are, and I feel so embarrassed to be associated with Tottenham.
Of course we are. I am completely ashamed of my football club.
Exactly.
And it's you know what, I've been ashamed of my football club. I'm embarrassed to support Tottenham before, but nothing at this level. Yeah. This just brings the game into complete disrepute.
What we need now, we need a government response to this, which I believe should come in the form of potentially primary legislation. The government can make changes to this, and Boris Johnson said he will fight this, and I believe that they will. And because they have the means to do so, because the government can make whatever rules they want. That's how it works. So I think they should introduce potentially a fan share of clubs. Something needs to change after this, because if this fails, it could happen again. That's the thing. This could just be the first step in a long road to football changing forever. And so something needs to be done now. I think the German rule is great. They have the 51%, I think it's called, rule, and well, maybe we won't see something that drastic. The Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, all the Supporters Trust were not even told about this, and that needs to change. We need there to be a transparent, open discussion about what is the best for the football. If potentially the Tottenham Hotspur Sports Trust were spoken to about, and they consulted the fans. We said, actually, you know what? If this is the way things are going and it's the best thing for fans, and they consulted us, and that's a different thing potentially. It's still bad, but at least they consulted the fans. But we can't even be in the stadiums to voice our opinions or anything. It's complete power grab by the richest in society, and I hope it stops. I really do, as we all do. But I'm disgusted to support Tottenham at the moment. It's crazy how just this sort of thing can unite Arsenal fans, Tottenham fans, Chelsea fans, everyone. And as the only, British-owned club, we should be more disgusted that we've gone along with this. And
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. And on Jose Mourinho, good luck to the guy. That's all I'll say.
Good riddance. Good riddance.
Good luck, but he tried his best. He did try his best. There's an awful lot, and we can speak about that another day.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll speak about it another day.
Here's what it is
Alex,
with Jose.
absolute pleasure as always, mate.
Thank you, guys.
See you later, Alex.
See ya.
There's a quote here for gone.
No, I was just saying a lot of super chats to get through. Kaza, football is about taking those long trips around the country. The match day feel. This isn't the match day feeling. Enthusiasm around the game will die. Secret Limited saying that's it. I'm supporting Haringey Borough FC. Deck W saying trust Levy. Money talks by Jose. Colin Lumsden again saying if Sky and BT get to air these games, will they really care? Tony with the super chat, thank you very much, mate. Felix Foss, a brand new member, welcome to you. Tony saying Nico for mayor.
And that's Nico Milana, he's a YouTuber. Apparently he's running for mayor as a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Jerome Abakea saying Jose sacking is a distraction. UEFA
Agreed.
and FIFA should ban players from playing in the Euros and World Cup, and I think that will stop players from playing.
Levy Super League, 1.2 billion pound debt, 350 million sign-up paid debt. Yeah, look, Levy's just thinking about the coffers. That's what he's thinking about. Luis Figo has been tweeting.
What's he saying?
He said, this so-called Super League is anything but super. This greedy, callous move would spell disaster for grassroots women's football and the wider football community. He is taking a strong stand against it. And apparently Ander Herrera tweeted about it, but apparently he's now deleted that tweet. Whatever, so I don't know what he said.
Did you hear Gary Neville last night on it?
I did, and he was absolutely spot on
wasn't
with
he?
everything he said. I think it's completely detrimental to the game, and I don't know. I'm lost at the moment as a football fan, as a fan of my club who want to be part of this. I don't know how to feel. I mean, I know how to feel, but it's just like, how do I make sense of it all when it's my club, the club I've loved ever since I was young, the club I've grown up with, and they're doing this kind of shit against the game that I love.
In all of our faces. That's what they're doing. They're shitting in all of our faces. But let's keep going. Got a lot of people waiting. The lines are very busy today. Let's bring on the bun, Danny Kiriakou.
Oh, let's get Danny on.
Yes, Danny. How's it going, mate? I think you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, he is on mute.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. How are we doing, boys?
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's been a whirlwind of 24 hours so far. How are you feeling?
I can't believe what's going on, to be honest. It's just complete madness, I think, in every way possible. Jose sacking, the Super League, stuff that's coming out. It's just absolute madness. I don't even know what to say on it. There's just so much you can say on it. But, yeah, it's crazy, man.
I mean, what direction do you go in now? I mean, do you even care about this Jose Mourinho sacking this morning?
I think a little bit. I mean, it's disgraceful and it's a bit of a shame that he's been sacked a week before a final. I mean, you bring him in to win a trophy and you don't even give him that opportunity. And considering he has kind of got us there to the final, and you don't even give him that chance in the final. So it's pathetic, really. And I do agree with what you boys have said about, I do think it is a PR stunt from the club to try and cover over all this Super League stuff. Now, with the Super League stuff, for me, right, I think this was inevitable. This was always going to happen. This has been something that's been building for years. I think a long time they've had these discussions about this, and the thing behind it is, right, one of the things I've noticed is you kind of see obviously this probably hasn't started conversations 20 years ago, right, when Levy first joined, but this is something that's happened in the last sort of 5 years, 5 to 10 years, I reckon, that there's been initial talks and sort of things that have been said, and then they've kind of started planning from there. And one of the things I've seen, right, with Tottenham and what Levy's done in terms of the infrastructure, right, is I personally think that he's done what he's done, like with the stadium being like the most technological advanced stadium on the planet, the first with a retractable NFL pitch, and all of this, right? It's like Levy's hit like these certain criteria to allow him to be one of these clubs in a so-called Super League, right? So that they can actually jump on the bandwagon and join as one of the founding clubs. Now, the thing is, right, like I think like you boys have said, if you look at it, right, Tottenham have got, I think there's something about 3 million fans in the UK, but the global market of fans is over 100 million fans, right? So they look at the aspects of the club, they look at the aspects of revenue, right? Because that's, if you think about it, right, in the last 20 years, football has become more of a business than ever before, and it's so marketable around the world, right? It's people are looking at it now, and these club owners, right, they can do what the f they want with their teams, because at the end of the day they own the clubs, right? Not the fans, not anyone. They're the ones who put their money in. I mean, I don't agree with what's going on, but they've put the money in, and they want to earn more money, right? It's like any businessman, and unfortunately, that is how sad the game has become. And I agree. What it's going to do is this Super League. I think it is going to go ahead. I can't like all the people, all these governing bodies who are threatening to oh, we're going to ban players and this and that. It's like you said, Sim, right? It's not going to happen, because the problem is the Premier League, for example, that's still going to be their bread and butter, and the Premier League cannot afford to disqualify these top six clubs, because I saw an article on the figure of how much money is filtered down the football pyramid that is made from the Premier League, and it's about 400 million, right? The majority of that money that is made is from those top six clubs, and the reason why is because they're the ones who sell the most merchandise. They've got the biggest marketing brand across the globe, right? Your people like Norwich and Leeds United, they don't have a global fan base in terms of the amount of revenue they make from the fan base in other countries like Asia, North America, South America, and those kind of countries. It's the top six that make the money, right? And they're just looking at it. And what's happened is the pandemic has sped up this process, right, for the Super League, because what's happening is these big clubs, they're all losing money, right? It's like a bath tap that's continuously running, right? And that's the money coming out of their team, because they're not making money because of everything that's going on in the world. And they've looked at it and said, like, well, this is going to be the biggest way we're going to actually have a self-sustaining model where investors are not actually going to lose any money, because if they're going to hit the global market, right, it's kind of like you said, the World Cricket Series. It's like it's going to be like that. It's going to be how NFL is, how you've got it's going to be like a franchise, right? And for these clubs, they're going to make so much money out of it. They don't give it a crap about how much money they're going to make from the Premier League, etc. Because this 350 million they're guaranteed to get per year, that's just for being a participant in this league, right? Now, that is more money than winning the Premier League and the Champions League combined. So why would they care what happens to anything else? They're not going to care, because at the end of the day, football is a business, and that is the sad reality of how the modern football has become. It's about money, right? The world is about money, and that is the sad reality. And it's a shame, right? Because I agree with what everyone said. I agree with what Grandpa said. I agree with what Alex said. The problem is you've got all these clubs that, like, for example, Leicester, West Ham, they deserve to be where they are because of how they've invested their money wisely, and they've played well to get where they are. And it's like, this is going to completely disregard like the competitiveness of the Premier League, for example. Now there's still talks, because no one really knows what's going to happen and how the plans are and how it's going to evolve. But I reckon, right, there's going to be a lot of I reckon people can't stop this because there's too much money involved in it, right? And when you've got the 12 or 15 biggest marketable clubs on the planet now, and I do include Tottenham there, because what Pochettino has done, right, by taking us to a new level and put our global brand on the map. And then with Levy, with the infrastructure, with the stadium, and obviously with Son Heung-min, with the Asian market, they've made Tottenham a global brand. That's what they've done. Bringing Gareth Bale back, that's a PR stunt. That is because Bale has got over 40 million followers on Instagram, right? He brings attention. He can sell merchandise, and it's all these things. And Jose Mourinho, I think, again, is bringing him. And so, for example, Jose Mourinho in the Amazon documentary, it's to heighten the brand of Tottenham Hotspur. Jose Mourinho, blockbuster manager. Yeah, he might not be the right man for the job.
Alex Morgan.
Yeah, exactly. Alex Morgan. Like, do you know what I mean? Everything they're doing is to heighten the brand of Tottenham Hotspur, because they knew this years ago that this was going to happen. And the problem is, I watched a little montage on the BBC yesterday, like a 5-minute video, and they're interviewing people in sports, and everyone keeps saying this was inevitable because of the way football was changing. It's like I don't think anyone can stop it. The government can't stop it. I don't believe they can stop it. The Premier League, they're not going to be able to stop it, because those top 6 clubs in England, for example, they make too much money. So the Premier League loses its brand if those 6 clubs are not in it. So what will happen is they'll come to an agreement, and again, it's going to be money. What they'll do is they'll probably invest money into the Premier League and say, look, well, we're going to do this, and we'll give you a little incentive for it, but it's not going to change anything. They're still going to go ahead with it, and it essentially is replacing the Champions League. It's kind of like the Super Bowl format, where you've got like 2 leagues, because what they're saying is that the Super League is going to be split into it's 20 teams, right? 15 founding members. And 5 teams will be able to be relegated and sort of go in and out of it every year, depending on how they finish in the season. And it'll be 2 groups of 10, and the teams will play each other, and the top 3 teams will automatically go into the playoffs, into the next round. And then the fourth teams will play into a sort of a one-off game, and then they go into the 4th and 5th teams will play into a one-off game, and they'll go into the next round to be like a mini tournament. And yeah, it's all a money ploy, to be honest, for these clubs to earn just ridiculous amounts of money, because you've got to remember, right? Yeah, exactly. You've got to remember, right? The Premier League, if they're still going to be in the Premier League, right? And they're still going to make money from the Premier League regardless of what happens. They're still going to make money. They're still going to get fans in no matter what. Like Alex was saying, like Grandpa was saying, like if we don't renew our season ticket, I mean, I'm one of the people who's Ben, I renewed my season ticket last week, right? And it's just like it's like, if we don't do it, there's that 20 other fans that are going to renew it, and they're going to get an even bigger global market going into this. And like, I've seen reports that like the Zone are going to be one of they want to invest 3.5 billion for the rights of having the Super League on. So if that's true, it's going to become a bidding war between the big broadcasters like Sky, BT, and the global like channels as well. And who wants to have the rights to play these games on their channels? So and then they're going to make more money around the world, because a lot of it's all down to like streaming services now. So it's just madness. It's honestly absolute crazy what's going on. I mean, what do you guys think of this? Because I mean, for me, it's like it's one of those things, right, where it's going to take the emotion and passion and love out of football, because it's like you said, Ben, it's that right to be in the competition because you've deserved to be there, because you've earned it, right? That element is going to be pretty much gone. And I reckon they'll have some sort of, I think the Champions League will still exist, right? Because it just will, because it's UEFA tournament. But there's going to be some sort of talks between the two, like the Super League and the Champions League. I think the Europa League is going to be non-existent eventually. I think that's going to be gone. And I think there's going to be some sort of talks between them, where maybe they have like some teams that break away from that each competition to go into like a UEFA kind of league combined with the Super League or something like that, where they both can earn a certain amount of money and share the rights. They're going to do something to compromise, right? And where UEFA will be like, okay, then yeah, that's fine, because they're going to make a shit ton of money out of it as well. It's all about money. Everything is about money, and people need to understand that. money rules the world, unfortunately, and it rules football nowadays, and that's just how it is.
It makes me sick to my stomach, everything that is going on right now. Daniel Levy and Enoch, absolute cretins.
Yep.
That's all I can say. But look, Danny, we've got the lines are really busy today, so we've got to keep going.
Boys.
But thank you so much for coming on.
Nice
Cheers,
one, Danny.
boys. Speak to you later, boys.
Speak to you in a bit, mate. Cheers for coming on. All right.
Well, we've got Lee Judges from AFTV. Obviously, I think fans of all clubs need to stand together in this time. I think rivalry with Spurs and Arsenal, I think it's got to be swept aside for this moment in time. And I think that Spurs, Arsenal, Man U, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, fans of all our clubs, even the ones in Europe, need to come together to stand against these monsters of football. But let's get Lee Judges on.
I want to get his opinions.
Let's see what he has to say on the whole matter.
Hey, Lee. Good to have you on, mate. Oh, is he there? Yeah, there he is. Is he there?
Lee?
There he is.
How you doing, mate? I think his internet's...
Oh,
Lee, can you hear us?
Is he there? I don't think he can hear us. Oh. Oh, so we'll
get him off and then.
We'll one sec. I'll get him back on in a sec. 1 second.
But yeah, I think it's important that this dialogue starts between the club's fans. I think it really is important, and I think we all need to stand together. And I think, like I said before, in this time, rivalry really doesn't mean anything, especially when there's no competition.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think it is very, very important that I think the football community gets together in that aspect, and we need to unite and not just be. We can't be split. We can't be this fan and that fan and think about ourselves. That's why we're in this mess. The club's thinking about themselves, and that's what we're here.
Let's get Lee back on, see if he's ready yet.
Oh, he's left. I think he's going to rejoin. Let's get someone else on in the meantime.
Let's get Ariane on. Ariane, talk to me.
It's like 5 a.m. here, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit quiet. So, hello?
Yeah.
We're here. Have you got the stream on in the background? Because I can hear myself.
No, I just don't have headphones. I'm gonna turn you guys down a little bit so you should be able to hear yourselves back.
But look, tell me your thoughts around the Super League and also Jose Mourinho's sacking.
You know what's the most disgusting thing about the Super League? This club furloughed its staff while talking about $3 billion payments behind closed doors.
Yep. Absolutely right.
Absolutely disgusting to think that it's just unbelievable. They're sucking the life out of football. And I've seen some people who are supporting it, and it's just insane to me how you can look at that, what is genuinely taking anything that football means to us, and you're ripping it away because some clubs have the God-given right to be better than others, when we've seen time and time again that just isn't the case. The reason we love this sport is because upsets happen more regularly than anywhere else, and that's because it's one of the only ones that has maintained its traditional way of playing, and that is you earn where you are instead of being given it to it by some corporation. We're Tottenham Hotspur FC, not Tottenham Hotspur CO or or LLC. All right, we're a football club, not a corporation, and I don't want anyone to change that. And I like the one thing that I'm honestly hanging on to make sure or hope this doesn't go through is that the players won't stand for it, because at the end of the day, they also are fans of some club. They have to know what this means to the fans. They have to know what it means.
They don't care what it means to the fans. That's the whole point.
No, yeah, but the players, not the owners.
The players, right?
The players, they have to know what it means to us, and they know they're disgracing themselves as well, them and their families, if they go out and they willingly play on that pitch and support the Super League nonsense. Because at the end of the day, you can collect your paychecks all you want, but you're ruining your own legacy out there. And you have some
Yeah.
players. Ander Herrera didn't actually delete his tweet; it's still up. I looked at it.
What
I
did it
wasn't
say?
able to memorize exactly what it said for you guys.
Yeah, I've
Sorry,
got it.
but
I've got it here. 1 minute.
uh,
It says, I fell in love with with popular football, with the football of the fans, with dreams of seeing the team of my heart compete against the greatest. If this European Super League advances, those dreams are over. The illusions of the fans of the teams that are not giants of being able to win on the field, competing in the best competitions will end. I love football and I cannot remain silent about this. I believe in improved Champions League, but not in the rich stealing what the people created, which is nothing other than the beautiful sport on the most beautiful sport on the planet.
I mean, yeah, spot on. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm happy as a player that somebody is coming out and speaking about it because that's exactly what we need right now. We need players who are part of, whether or not they're part of the club doesn't matter. We just need players or anyone that has any sort of power here to come out and speak against it because honestly, it's been proven that they don't need us. We can just watch or not watch them and boycott them, but they don't need us real fans. They need their future fans who care about your Mbappes and your Haalands and your Messis and Ronaldos. They don't care about us who sit here and watch through Matt Doherty, Ben Davies, and Harry Winks every week. Who cares about them? Like we don't. They don't need us. Of course they can forget about us.
Yeah, and yeah, they've been saying this. They're calling us. I don't know. Look, as a fan in the US, I want to get your opinion because a lot of people obviously are going to be saying, "Oh, they're trying to maximize the US market and the Asian market in growing their fan base globally in that kind of essence." And as a fan who does watch football from the US, who's obviously not a match-going fan because you live in the US, like I want to know your opinions to what you think a Super League could mean to fans over in the US and whether it could turn fans away or do you think it could create more fans over there?
Compared to how it's going to be here, it's a format that I think a lot of people here are more used to because that's kind of how basketball and American football and stuff here are more played because it's the same teams every year and there is something to that I guess for them. To me, it's a little bit boring because really it's the same few teams that win it or the same few players that win it every single year. And I just don't really see the appeal in it. But I think as when it's when you're talking about maximizing the market, you're definitely going to get a lot more people in America watching the Super League if you format it that way. And I think that's obviously part of the whole incentive to do it like that because you have these like superstar games like Bayern versus Madrid versus Chelsea versus City versus United. Like these are games that on their own are getting millions of dollars and it's ridiculous. So I think when it comes to maximizing in the US, yeah, of course they're going to do that. But the appeal in it, I think I don't really see it. I think it's going to drain the life out of football as we know it. Like you guys were saying, that's why it's so disgraceful. And
Ariane, let me ask you. Sorry to cut you off, but let me ask you this. Do you think that right now, obviously, the football family are completely up in arms about what's going on right now? But do you think in a good 2, 3, 4, 5 years, this will just be a standard and nobody will be complaining about it anymore?
This could be one of two things, obviously. One is that exactly we just said, we're going to get all upset about it and, we're going to get used to it in a few seasons and all is going to be well or whatever. It's going to be something at least and we're going to go watch our games. And the other, it could be a historic moment of people uniting together to just kick these corporations out, like just back in their place, that we own this game. And it could be one of those two. And it really could be either. It just depends on how we handle the situation. And I think that's what's most important. Now I'm standing on I'm praying that the players just come through. And after this all over one way or another, one thing is for sure, we will never forgive and we will never forget what ENIC have done to this club or tried to do to this club because it is disgraceful. They're going to suck the soul out of this club only for their own benefit, and it is just this because there are many people that this is their whole life. Like without Tottenham, they like some people rely on this as a coping mechanism because they could be having many problems in their life, and it's so much more than just a game to us. It could genuinely be. Some people are hanging on a thread because they love every week, every few days, going to preparing for match day, watching their team play, going to a bar or something, and watching with other people. That's their whole life. That is what they look forward to every single week, and you're tearing the life out of that because of a few $1,000,000, and it's just I don't get it. And I
You're
still haven't
taking
even
away
made
people's livelihoods to line your own pockets, and it is an absolute disgrace.
and the lack of transparency. The trust said that they had meetings with the board constantly, and there was not a mention of this. Not only is this a lack of
Sneaky.
transparency, it is deliberately hiding it because they know that what they're doing is disgraceful, and they know they have to keep it in the last second to even make sure there's a chance of it happening because they know that it's awful to do. They know it's the wrong thing
And
to do.
even worse, they're distracting it with the sacking of Mourinho.
Exactly.
Massive distraction. That's all it is.
And I remember I was on Twitter. I mean, it's 5 a.m. I just can't put my phone down because of just what's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's 5 a.m.
Me
here,
too.
and I'm on Twitter. It's a big group chat with about 50 something people, and we're all talking about the Super League. And then, bam, news gets announced that Jose's sacked, and now the whole conversation. And now I'm going crazy. I'm like, okay, there's this, that's happening, this happening. We're out of the European thingy, and now Mourinho's out, and now we're going to join the Super League. It's like so many things going on in my brain, and I can't comprehend it all. And it's just this distraction. Now we're talking about Nagelsmann. And one thing I wanted to say about the Jose sacking is Fabrizio Romano kind of implied in one of his tweets that we have a manager set up already, but they're only going to come until June. So right now, as interim, Ryan Mason is going to stay and coach, but we have a manager lined up for next season, and we're making plans with them on the transfer window and whatnot. I don't know what the point of that is, if it's true at all. It was kind of implied, but I mean, I don't know. I just thought that'd be good to mention. And I mean, yeah, it's just a whole thing, and the fact that they're aware, because there's no way that they're this dumb, right? Because like as much as we hate them, we have to give credit to them. They are clever. They are clever that they know exactly how to go about this to try and maximize their chances of genuinely killing football to line their own pockets. And it's disgraceful.
Ariane, absolute pleasure getting you on, spitting pure facts as usual. But thanks for coming on, man, and we'll see you next time.
I see you, Ariane.
Thank you, guys.
Super chat here from Jeff Chang saying from a Korean gunner, I also want to stop Super League. We'll see £1 billion for Haaland soon. New big ears for a company, not a football club. And talking about gunners, let's get Lee Judges on.
Let's try Lee on again.
Let's try Lee, see if it's working now. Lee, hey Lee.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. We can hear you now. Lee, what a shit show this morning. What a shit show last night. And what can you tell me from an Arsenal fan's perspective? What can you tell me about this whole Super League nonsense?
Just like I think I just listened to your guys just before that. You know, he's spot on what he's saying. What a great talker. Yeah, it's just like, listen, this is just purely down to money. Yeah. Money. And listen, Arsenal and Spurs are in a position where they couldn't say no at this moment in time, because if they said no, there'd be somebody else coming in and whatever. So they've had to say no. If they said no, listen, Arsenal and Spurs are struggling to get into the Champions League as it is. You know, now all of a sudden, like a free ticket to get into it. As a business side, as a business model, they're not going to say no, and that's what we you know. But listen, they're only telling you things now that we already know what they are. You know, Arsenal and Spurs are not the football clubs that I fell in love with and hated for so many years. You know what I mean? Like going back to the day, they're not. You know, Arsenal. You guys now at Spurs are at the beginning of it with the new stadium and everything like that, and you'll soon realise that it's not the Spurs that you're following 2-3 years ago to the Spurs you're following now, because it's certainly not the same Arsenal that I follow now that it was when it was back in the hybrid days, and that is a guarantee, you know. And the money being touted, lads, you can't, you know, can you blame owners for going down that route when they've got no attachment to the football club other than the business model, money? They don't care about what happened 20 years ago, or, you know, Ricky Villa scoring at Wembley. They, you know what I mean? They probably don't even know who Ricky Villa is. You know what I mean? Like, or the same when, you know, Liam Brady was doing it in 1979. They don't care about that. What they care about is money. And listen, from my point of view, the Premier League is now going to be in all sorts of trouble, because you're going to have 6 clubs that are going to just have the guaranteed amount of money. And don't for 1 minute think that Arsenal and Spurs are going to compete with the likes of Man United and Chelsea and these teams in this we'll be still feeding off the scraps of a bigger table than what table we've got at the moment. So don't think it's ever going to benefit us as fans in any shape or form. What it will do is benefit the owners. We might see a player here or there, but what you're going to do is you're not going to be going up to Newcastle for a weekend. You're not going to be going to Liverpool watching Everton and teams like West Ham and things like that. Now, you may say, oh, well, we don't care about those. So I care about those teams, because at the end of the day, that's the team. Why I fell in love with football was to go to the likes of Upton Park, which has changed, by the way. Look at West Ham now to what ground they've got now. All the old grounds are going. Gradually, it's fading away. And it won't be long before it's a Super League where you won't have the Premier League no more. It will be like, what are you doing today, Lee? Oh, well, Arsenal are in Barcelona and you've got to fly over there or whatever. Now, realistically, for an average fan, can they afford to be doing that? Can they, like, you know what I mean? So it's no way are they thinking about the going fan as well, because they don't care about whether. This is what makes me laugh about this pandemic and all that, like, you know, and they're worrying about the fans and all that not being in grounds. They have never cared about the fans being in grounds. Never about that. It's about TV deals and things like that. They're not worried how many fans they get in the door. They're just worried about what they're going to earn. And I'm afraid that Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs, not so much Chelsea, because I think that Chelsea, the owner there, does care about winning. Like, that's why they've won. Manchester City, well, it doesn't really matter. They're just going to have to be in the party because of the money that they've got. But for Arsenal and Spurs, let's be realistic, guys. I know it's bad and it's sore and all that. We can't afford to be out of it. And I'll tell you what, you'd rather be Arsenal and Spurs today than West Ham and Everton. And that's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? And that's how you got to feel. And we are lucky. Arsenal and Spurs are very, very lucky to even be asked to go into this with the way that both clubs are at the moment. Spurs, you know, haven't won nothing for a very long while, and Arsenal don't look like winning anything.
Still there,
Lee? I think you're breaking up there. You're
right.
One sec, Lee.
You're breaking up there, but look, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on. The points you made there were absolutely spot on. And I think that Spurs and Arsenal fans do need to stand together to get rid of these cretins of football, poisonous atmospheres. But let's keep going. But thanks again, Lee, for coming on.
You did kind of break up right at the end there. Really appreciate you giving your time to come on and give your thoughts. I would have kept you on for longer, but unfortunately you did cut off just a bit. But I really do appreciate you coming on. I think it is important for Arsenal and Spurs fans, all the fans who are to band together and really speak up about the current situation and where we're all going. And look, I think he has a point when he says Spurs and Arsenal are lucky to be involved, and they are. That's the truth. But in terms of the wider football community, like, it's so detrimental that I can't just look through this tunnel vision of just Tottenham. I can't, and it won't allow me to do that.
Look, at the end of the day, yes, we might be lucky to be involved from a financial perspective or something like that. But at the end of the day, they're ripping out the sense of everything that it means to be a football fan. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agree.
Like, what are we going to be doing next season? Like, are we going to be going up and down to Newcastle and West Ham and all these places? Or are we just going to have to watch things on TV with football being played in Qatar and Australia and these places? I don't know where to go anymore. And Daniel Levy and Enoch, as much as everyone has been saying, you know, there's been a split fan base kind of saying, some saying he's done a good job, a lot of people saying he's an absolutely poisonous atmosphere that only cares about lining his pockets. But I'm afraid those fans have been proved 100 million% right. 100 million% right. This ban, this ownership are poison. They're absolute poison. And that goes along with all the other owners that have gone into the Super League as well. But let's get Jory on.
Let me just read a quote quickly as well. Coming from Cave Solocol says, from that apparently the same board member saying, "This isn't civil war, it's nuclear war. To be honest, the owners are not worried about the bad PR. They were expecting it. Their main job is to maximize profits." And then Mesut Ozil said, "Kids growing up dreaming to win the World Cup and the Champions League, not any Super League. The enjoyment of big games is that they only happen once or twice a year, not every week. Really hard to understand for all football fans out there." And Mesut Ozil, when Mesut Ozil was speaking facts like that, you know something is deeply wrong.
Got a super chat here from Harry Coys. He says, "Guys, thoughts on what your friends at Redmen TV and Liverpool fans have done? Their latest tweet in their page. We need to do the same with banners." And yes, I 100%
What have they
agree.
done?
I actually need to come off this stream. I need to start making this banner. I want to take it to the Carabao Cup final. I want to go outside White Hart Lane right now and show these banners. I want to get a crowd out there, and I want to put our foot down. I think protests need to start happening as soon as possible.
Absolutely agree. Apologies. One sec, guys. The camera's just turned off. One sec. They have done a banner. It says LFC fans against European Super League. That's the banner. I'll share it with everyone.
I want to make a banner right now. I promise you I want to make a banner right now. And I want to go to the Tottenham Stadium today. Never mind the cup final. I want to go there today.
Where is it? Let me see if I can share it with everyone. There you go. LFC against European Super Club. That is that have gone outside Anfield and they've posted that up. There you go.
Let's keep going because we are running out of time a bit.
All right, the Joracle. Let's get him on. Hey, Jory.
Hey, guys. Gee. Just when you think it can't get any worse, eh?
Exactly. We've literally been going for nearly 2 hours. Mourinho's barely been mentioned. Like, what are your thoughts on the current situation in the past 24 hours?
You know what? I need to...
Well, I mean, I think the fact that Mourinho's barely been mentioned reflects the fact that why mention something at this current moment? I consider Tottenham to be a non-entity. You know, the actual club, the actual organization is a branding commodity in the hands of American banking and incompetent billionaires club that we got there in ENIC. You know, I would just I would ask you, Sim, what's a club really? What do we consider a club to be?
It's supposed to be go on.
No, I mean, is it the players? No. Is it the stadium? No. Is it the neighborhood? No. It's the community that we are. So we need to, before we go doom and gloom here, we need to understand we are the club. It's not the 20-man squad. It's not ENIC. It's not our voting right in the FA. It's none of that. It's you guys. It's me. It's everybody who buys into backing this idea. And what was the idea? The idea was to strive for the best. The idea was to play in a certain way. The idea was to come together. Yes, historically, it started around geographical locations. Yeah, it's about North London. That's the historical origins of it. If you now take this Tottenham that's going into the Super League, you cut off all relation to that. We were Tottenham because of what we did in the English leagues. Now the last league was the Premier League. Before that, there were other leagues. There was First Division, so on and so on. That's the Tottenham that we are. Once we go out of that, we're not Tottenham anymore. It's just a logo, and we should not follow that logo. Like I've decided for myself, I'm not watching the cup final. I'm not watching another game. I know Jonas is going to be heartbroken, but if we because I know that there's many fans that think that this is some kind of a flattering honor for us to be among these clubs. No, don't kid yourself. We are influential because of the amount of fans that we follow. That's why they want us in there. The same with Arsenal, not because of how good we are at football right now. We are one of the more important clubs, and they're right in that way. We are one of the most important clubs in terms of what the fan community is. The same with Arsenal. But that's why I'm saying, and I have a business venture for you and Ben and everybody at the WeAreTottenhamTV. I would like to put in my first order, be the first to put in the order for Legacy Tottenham fan T-shirt. Please get them printed. I'm gonna
100%.
wear that with pride. I'm proud of being a Legacy fan. That's what it's all about. It's about the legacy.
That's what football is all about. That's the essence of football, the history, what people have done, the legacy. That is what football is about. And to just dismiss it and think, oh, we are fans of the past, they're going to concentrate on fans of the future, is so disgusting, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, these guys, and I heard Alex say that he didn't want to get too conspiratorial and so on. These guys, they only think in Machiavellian terms. They don't have a normal thought in their brain, sorry. And they're actually quite stupid when it comes to these things. What they don't understand here is this fact that it's not theirs to take and put in another place. I think the fans need to really realize how important it is to step up now. And I think We Are Tottenham TV has now found beyond it was an important gathering ground, but you've become important beyond belief right now. I know that I've got a young boy that plays football every waking hours that he can. He looks up to, he loves every player in Tottenham. He spends every resting hour watching videos with Tottenham players and so on. He's not gonna be once he gets grown up and let's just say everything goes great for Jonas. And he has a chance of being a professional in football. He's not gonna be the guy that wants to play for this kind of a club. If we're wondering what this is gonna be, it's gonna be like American sports. It's a franchise. It's gonna be dominated by the worst toxic players that you can imagine and their agents. It's gonna be about product placement. I can promise you this Super League is going to make new rules. The first thing we're probably going to see, VAR being sponsored. So VAR is going to be brought to you by Pepsi, and the next, before you know it, there won't be 2 halves in football. There'll be 4 quarters, so they can get another commercial break in. I'm telling you, that's where it's going. This is just commoditization of the game of football. Why the also it's the greedy Americans, and we need to realize now, and we need to come together with the other fan bases. We need to realize we cannot have American football investors. They are always backed by these hedge funds. There's only one game in town with these guys. We need to stand with Liverpool fans. We need to stand with Manchester fans. They need to stand with us. We need to get these people out. You guys need to cancel your season ticket. If you love football, if you love Legacy Tottenham, which is my love now, which doesn't exist at this moment in time, then you need to fight now, because you won't have it in very few years. It will be completely gone. Yeah. So
Yeah, look, Jory, I completely agree with pretty much everything you said. I think this European Super League is going to be everything we hate about football, pretty much dialed up to 100. The
Yeah.
wages will skyrocket to even more ridiculous to what they are now. The agent fees will be ridiculous. The transfers, like all these players, yes, what players have their own minds, but like players are selfish. They're all going to want to be part of it. If this happening, they're all going to be part of the Super League. So it's going to completely devalue every other club that's not in the Super League. It's going to completely take them out of it. It's going to take competition completely away from the sport. You know, Ajax of a couple of years ago getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League, Dortmund, clubs like that, Monaco, who when they got to the semi-finals not so long ago, Porto winning the Champions League. These are going to be things of the past. It's never going to happen again. These are going to be relics of history, pretty much what we're seeing right now. And that's the saddest thing about all this and it's completely taking away any sort of element of competition or fairness. That even there was an illusion before. Maybe you would say it wasn't fair anyway, but at least there was an illusion of fairness. At least there was a chance if you do things correctly, there is a slight chance you could come off you. But now they're literally writing it in the rules that there's no chance for you.
Yeah, but guys, we need to realize, and you need to realize, that what Tottenham is like. If you have these growing Asian and American markets, that's kind of where these hedge fund idiots think that they're gonna have a party and make so much money. That's all based on the legacy of the club. Now we are the freaking legacy. Let's understand that we're the legacy. We're the living legacy of this club, and the same with Manchester. The same with all the 6 clubs. Now, if we are vocal and if we are outward quite visible in terms of we denounce this, and this has nothing to do with us. This is a sham. This is a hijacking. This is a empty logo with nothing behind it. Well, then they won't get the Asians and the Americans towards it. They want to buy into what you guys built up. We saw it you saw it when the Americans went into the German car industry. They took the best freaking trademark in car history, Mercedes, and ruined it in 3-4 years by using cutting corners and whatever. Football is has even more opportunity for this kind of stupid behavior. They like what American capitalists are great at is turning a profit right here and now. What they're also great at is leaving completely scorched earth. Look at America. Look at the American sports. They're tumbling, all of them. Their viewerships are all tumbling because it's become completely unbearable. Even though the American people love their sports, the culture around the sports is become completely unbearable, even for them. You know, look at their industries. The same this is the grab and run kind of a mentality, and they can do that fine. Now, to be honest, I'm actively rooting until this has been undone. I'm actively rooting for the misery of all these clubs, including our own club. I don't. This is not our club anymore. This is the stupidest business deal that Levy and Co has ever made. It's nothing to do with our club anymore. We need to realize that at this moment, they have divorced themselves from the legacy of Tottenham. So it's not Tottenham anymore. Okay, they own the logo. Fine, they can own it. I don't care about the logo. It's what the club is, the ethos, the community, the legacy. That's what the club is, and that's not what they have. So.
And what do you say to some people who say UEFA and FIFA are a big part of the problem, and this is a step in the direction of disbanding that and basically rebuilding football again because UEFA and FIFA have taken too much control and they're a big part of the problem as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, UEFA and FIFA are terrible organizations. We know that. You know, we and the same with the Olympic organization. All these sports organizations are terrible, corrupt, terrible organizations. So that needs to be dealt with. That that's fine. We can deal with. I would be happy to join a new organization, where we are all joining and we're still playing by the rules. and so on. If that's what they're suggesting, fine, bring that on. It's not going to be a closed, franchised, owned league that somebody owns and invests in, and so on. And it's some elite clubs that are guaranteed access all the time. Then you're gonna have the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox and whatever. They're gonna dominate it year after year after year. And the main kind of point of attraction in the sport is going to become the newest, most flamboyant player and his agent and what they're doing and whatever. And is that if that's what you like, I'll speak to the fans. If that's what you like, okay, go watch your Super League. That's fine. I mean, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna, and I suggested I would love to see you guys and all of the fan YouTubers and stuff need to get together and I love what the Trust did, Tottenham Hotspur Trust did, and I think it's very important to get organized about this. And I would be happy to see us all use the label legacy and stand together and stand in solidarity, because we also have to be grateful for this moment, because they kind of sprung it on us a little bit too soon. They probably thought they were comfortable and could get away with this at this point. But we know what we need to do now. We need to get these investors out of football, all of football, not only our club. We need to get them out of Liverpool. We need to get them out of Manchester. If we want football to continue its more than 100-year history and legacy.
And Jory, before I leave you, we should probably mention that our manager has been sacked today.
Yes.
In terms of Mourinho, I just want to get your reaction to that. And also, do you think the timing is not coincidental?
I mean, this confirms like I've been speculating a lot and trying to read into what Levy's motives are and so on. This confirms that, like, if I hear Levy call himself a fan once again, I don't know what I'm gonna do really. I'm a quite calm and collected guy, but I don't know. I don't want to say anything I'll regret here, but Levy, you're not a fan of anything. You're actually an ally of everything that's corrupt and rotten in this time. This is also a bigger picture, guys. This is also a moment where we can actually say, do we want to be a cow for the experiments of hedge funds? Do we want to be just an entity that's milked, where we're supposed to buy the newest iPhone, we're just supposed to buy the newest kit, we're just a merchandise receptacle, Is that what it's all come down to? I don't think so. I think there's still time to take a stand. And for me, I will be just putting my love and effort into more of the Icelandic football. I'll probably select. I have been following Brentford a little bit. I'll keep following them. But I'm like, this is me done with following Tottenham. I'll follow you guys. I'll follow the community Tottenham, but I am not watching another game till this is done with.
Jory, great to have your passionate opinions about what's going on at the moment. I completely echo most of your thoughts on the current situation. I can see how affected you really are by it, and I think a lot of fans feel the same way right now.
Yeah, I know it's difficult. It's easier for me in Iceland to say I'm not going to any games, but I was actually planning to go with Jonas to London at the first opportunity once this COVID is over. I'm not gonna go there. We're gonna go, Bayern or something instead. Dortmund. He loves Dortmund, or Danish league or whatever. I can't go there now. Brentford. If I'm in London, I'll go to a Brentford game or Fulham game or whatever. I won't go to Tottenham, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it. But guys, I trust you guys also. You really have a lot of work in front of you, and I know you can do it. Yeah. And
That's why you keep seeing me walking in and out, Joey, because I'm just trying to organize some sort of banner or some sort of something. I want to go down to the stadium today.
Yeah, but you missed it. I told you, I told Sim that I'm gonna put in the first order for We Are Tottenham TV Legacy Tottenham fan T-shirt. Please print them up. I'll
them
be
ready.
buying one. Yeah, I'll wear that
right.
legacy label with pride. That's exactly what I am. I'm legacy, and you super leaguers can go F off. You know.
Exactly. Super League can go up your ass. All
Jory,
right,
it's been a pleasure. Absolute pleasure having you on.
Take care, guys.
Speak to you in a bit, mate.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, still got a lot of people to get through, but I think we're going to have to keep it short and sweet for the remainder.
We've got what's called Wayne Rooney quoted on the sacking of Jose Mourinho. He said, "Crazy doing it before a cup final. Strange timing. Could have waited. Fantastic manager, one of the best the game has seen. I'm sure he will bounce back."
Rooney said that.
Wayne Rooney said that. And also, more PR wagglings from the Tottenham PR machine is an absolute overdrive at the moment.
Is this about the COVID testing?
Absolute overdrive. The PR machine is at the moment. They've just tweeted out something probably to make people forget even more about what they have, what they are attempting to do. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will host a pop-up COVID-19 vaccination clinic delivered by Morris House Group Practice and Haringey GP Federation on Saturday, 24th of April. They are in overdrive, absolute overdrive. The PR machine.
We are in overdrive right now.
And that's what it is.
Super chat here from John Rose saying, "We are not fans, we are customers. Do keep up."
Yeah, definitely
It's
right.
been like that for a while. Mintu Lee said, "Jory is right. They think they'll get the Asians to buy in, but no Asian will wake up 3 in the morning to watch commercials with a football break." Tony says, "Imagine getting sacked for standing up." The kid Yid says, "Who is going to be brought in?" Great stream.
And Boris Johnson says, apparently has said, the government will work with football authorities to stop the European Super League from going ahead as it has been proposed. So the government getting involved, apparently.
We need to get through everyone. I think everyone's got a lot to say. Let's get Cody Mack on.
Come on, Cody.
Cody, unfortunately, we're going to have to keep them quite short. But what have you got to say, Cody?
Yeah, that's okay. You know, I've got about 2 minutes before I get a divorce. My wife has no idea. I rolled out of bed to all this. And straight downstairs, she has no idea what I'm doing. Listen, to the football fans of England, to the football fans of Tottenham Hotspur, I apologize because really, when it comes down to it, this is all my fault. The only reason, and as discussed, that this is even possible to work for Tottenham is because of the international reach that's been gained under this ownership, which I will no longer defend on any level. I was completely wrong about them. And you know what? This is happening, whether we want it to or not. It's like it has been discussed. The Premier League doesn't have a leg to stand on. UEFA doesn't have a leg to stand on. And that's why you're seeing these over-the-top, like the harshest possible sanctions being threatened by them. It's because they know that they're bluffing. They just don't have a leg to stand on. So I think this is going to end up happening. But I'll just try and I'll do like my 2-minute rant and then I'll go but like as Spurs fans, we have been completely starved of success for so long, and we really want trophies. You know, we really do. And so with that in mind, you can imagine the pain that it causes me to say that I think Brentford should be the League Cup champions, that I think Leicester City should be awarded the FA Cup. We have decided in the face of these clear sanctions to walk away from these competitions. So I don't see why we deserve to be in them anymore. And who knows, maybe the League Cup final won't even happen. Maybe that's why they felt comfortable sacking Jose Mourinho. But like the trust and loyalty of fans, local and international, has been completely betrayed. We've been completely duped. And here's what I'll say. Okay, so on Amazon Prime, there's a series of shorts called Thank God for Football. They're like 10-minute documentaries, and then they talk about the roots of some of the biggest clubs in England and how they're connected to the church. And there is an episode about Tottenham Hotspur that I found quite interesting. And they talk about the founding, the first president of Tottenham Hotspur, John Ripsher. And I want to go to a quote from this little short. Please. It says, under his leadership, Spurs acquired the reputation of being the most popular club in England for their fair play. Quite simply, if you cheated, if you were dirty, you couldn't get into the Spurs team. In 1948, Fred Ward wrote a history of the club, and he looks back on Ripsher's contribution and writes this: let us pause here for a while and think of what the excellent Mr. Ripsher did. He started a tradition at the Hotspur Club, which has been maintained to the present day. For my opinion, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have done much to perpetuate the best possible spirit in the playing of professional football. Now you tell me what remains of the spirit on which this club was founded. We used to be the good guys. We have sold our soul in exchange for eternal life, and mark my words, we will live to see this decision haunt us. I honestly, if this goes ahead, I don't think that I can support Tottenham Hotspur anymore. I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. This is just complete blasphemy, and that's all I have to say. So, cheers, guys, for having me on.
An American fan, and that's for a fan who's not.
That is an absolute spot on, and I think. Are you a Legacy fan, Cody?
I'm an upset fan. I honestly, I'm just completely shattered. Just completely shattered. I know. I don't think that I can deserve to put myself in that category of Legacy fan. You guys know that I'm passionate, but I do feel like in some twisted way that I'm partly responsible for this, and that's disgusting. And to all the fans of the Premier League, to the fans of West Ham, Leicester, Everton, all the clubs, all the different tiers, just know that Spurs fans, we don't back this. We don't support this at all. And we are just as upset and outraged as you are. Okay, but I gotta go.
That's strong,
absolutely
Cody.
Spot on, Cody.
Unbelievable words, and I completely appreciate them and appreciate how hard I can see it is for you to speak about and like to talk about where the club is going and what's happening at the moment with football. And I can see it really, really is affecting you, and it's
now go
affecting
save
all
your
of
marriage,
us.
Cody.
It's just disgusting. But yep, I'll go. See you guys.
See you, Cody. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Nice one, Cody. Let's keep going because we are running out of time. Like I mentioned, Will Stewart.
Let's get Will on. Hey, Will.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Oh,
Will,
man. What is going on?
Will, talk to us.
Yeah,
what's your thoughts?
And we thought 2020 was bad, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now, before I get into my short little spiel that I'm going to do here, I have to put in a disclaimer. I am wholeheartedly 1,000 million, 10 million% against this. As an American who lives in the franchise sports world, I know the ins and outs of it. I know what it means. And the, for the MLS, promotion relegation was one thing that I was really pushing for. And I was hoping that we would get that, not that we would end up taking it away from the British game. But that being said, I'm also a very level-headed, pragmatic person. And I'd like to say I don't want people to get false hope. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The teams that are involved in this are registered outside of the UK. There's nothing the British government can do to stop it. Unless they confiscate their property. The companies, Tottenham Hotspur is registered in the Bahamas. All of those other clubs are registered in the United States or overseas. The British government has no control over them legally. So people can push and pull, and that's why I think you're seeing the lash out of these organizations. Right? UEFA's pissed off because they're losing their cash. Right? The FA's pissed off because they're losing their cash. The Premier League's pissed off because they're losing their cash. None of those three organizations care about us as fans either, to be honest with you. And I just feel that, this system that's going to come in, if it's inevitable, right? Tottenham would be dead either way. whether you're in it, if you know, philosophically and spiritually, if you think that Tottenham's dead based on this decision, that's fine. If we weren't in it, we'd be dead anyway, because eventually, and if you look at American franchise sports and the history of sport in America and how it came about, all of that whole franchise system came out of a club-based system. From in any sport you're looking at, Major League Baseball, you know, NFL, American football, you know, ice hockey, all of those they had their own leagues that were eventually built into this franchise system, and those other leagues either became minor leagues, which are feeder clubs for the major league teams, or they disappeared from existence. So if Arsenal was in the Super League and we weren't, we would either become Arsenal's minor league team, or the club would just cease to exist, because the top players are going to go where the other top players are to play in the top competition to make the top money that they can make. And UEFA and FIFA can do all they want to do, but if FIFA bans these players from playing an international sport, the World Cup becomes the Olympics, right? Because all of these other players are going to go where the millions and millions and millions of dollars in. Now, some people, the positive, the silver lining on this rainbow, right, is American fans are, and there's a lot of heat out there on Americans right now. So as one, I'm sorry for that. I don't necessarily think that it's American principle, because most of these owners aren't American. There's a few of them that are. Out of the 12, I think it's 3 that are technically American.
Yeah.
So it's not just our fault. But I think that people we're passionate about our sports, you know, even though I don't watch American sports, not because of the franchise system. I don't watch it because I just particularly don't enjoy that sport. And there's still passion. There's still going to be joy and excitement. I mean, you still have Green Bay Packers fans who, you know, go topless to games and paint themselves green and in minus 15-degree weather, right? I mean, there's still going to be that love for the game. It's just going to change in a way that's unsettling. And my biggest fear in all of this is that they don't start adding commercial stoppage time. Because my biggest thing against American football and why I don't like watching it is that out of a 3-hour match on TV, you're only getting about, 60 minutes of actual playing time. And then inside of that, the way American football set up, it's only about 20, 25 minutes of actual playing. So the reason why I love football is because I love the beautiful game, and I love the fact that it's nonstop for 40 minutes. And, is this something that happens? I mean, yeah. And as an American, I guess you could say it doesn't really hit me near as deep. Like the complaints about, well, now we're going to have to fly to Italy or, for an away match or whatever. And I think that I'm used to that, right? If you're a Miami's Dolphins fan and you're playing the Seattle Seahawks, you have to fly 6 hours on an airplane to an away match if you want to, just because of the nature of the size of our country. So an hour and a half plane ride to Juventus is kind of pales in comparison to, what away fans have to go through here. But, and two, I just think that, I think that the Premier League and the FA, because this is going to happen. This is going to happen regardless. They already have the money. They already have it. It's lined up. The governments can't stop it. You want to talk real worst case scenario is the government tries to do something silly and then they end up moving the club to New York. Because why couldn't they?
Forever.
I mean, it's. I think that the Premier League needs to, and I think that these 6 teams and the 12 teams in total know they have all the power. They know they have all the gambling cards. They know they have. Otherwise, I can guarantee you, they have lawyers on top of lawyers on top of lawyers who have dotted every I and crossed every T, and they know what they're getting themselves into. They're not going into this blind.
Yeah. I've even been read that they expected and they've known about the bad PR was going to get, and they not really bothered by it. They're just aware of it, and they're ready to move forward with it and without a care, really.
And that's what that guaranteed payments for the first couple of years are for during that initial thing, is to cover that initial protest from fans, not watching, not going to matches. They don't care right now because they have a certain amount of money, more money than they would have ever had playing in the current system, for just being a part of it until the shock factor wears off. And it's sad. It's horrible. And, I just think that for me, looking back and tying the Jose sacking into this, all of the weird things that I saw in the contracts, right? The amount of money that Jose made, the fact that he actually got paid for like a sacking clause, all makes sense now.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now, right? It's in, Son Heung-min not signing his contract yet makes sense now, right? All of those things that we were questioning and worried about or talking about over the past, 6 months, all make sense now. They really do. The club, taking out a lease on that land to do a training facility for the NFL, all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. Every bit of it makes sense now. The reason why we built the stadium makes sense now. The reason why we didn't invest in certain windows in order to get that done makes sense now. This all makes sense now. Looking back, all of those pieces were leading up to yesterday.
And now here we are. But Will, look, unfortunately, we do have a lot more guests to get from. I'm a bit running out of time, so I'm going to have to leave you. But I really appreciate your thoughts. And it is definitely, for me, a big and good insight talking to American fans specifically, because we know the fans over here on this side are going to be massively against it, just naturally, because it's big change. But this is all geared towards getting more American fans on side, very clearly, in my opinion, getting more globally fans. And if you guys are against it, that will all the more, hopefully, drive this to stop happening. So I think it's important to get you guys' opinion and how you guys see it as well. And I do appreciate your opinions, and I appreciate you coming on.
Yep, thanks for having us.
Nice one, Will. Speak to you in a bit, mate. Apparently, breaking news on Sky Sports. It says the founding members of the Super League have signed a 23-year commitment to the league. The clubs feel like they cannot be stopped creating the league. So that is a breaking news on Sky Sports, apparently. 23-year commitment of the Super League. It looks like the clubs are going to go ahead with it and be damned to everyone else.
I promise you, man, I am completely distraught, and I'm like struggling to come up with words right now. I really am. We do have some more guests to get through.
Let's keep going.
We have to make them quick. So I'm just gonna. Josh King wants to come on next, does he?
Oh, let's get Josh King on quickly. Come on then, let's get him on. Hi, Josh.
Hey guys, yeah, no, thank you. I've got a work meeting soon, innit? So
yeah, come on then, come on.
Yeah,
Josh, I want to know your opinion.
What do you have to say? Because I know you got a lot to say.
Yeah, look, I'll start by saying, by the way, that's the last two calls were both brilliant. Like brilliant points, things that I hadn't really thought about before. The fact that clubs are registered abroad, and it's true, it's empty threats from most of these organizations like UEFA and the PL and stuff. I am 100% against this Super League, just like all of you are, like almost all of us are. I haven't spoken to anyone that wants it, but there's so much anger towards our club in particular, like as in from our fans. And I've got to admit, I do see things a little bit differently, and I guarantee there'll be people that hate me in the comments for this, but I don't blame I don't blame Daniel Levy at all, because I hate the idea of this Super League, but it would have been financial suicide if he took the stand and was like, right, I'm not going to join it. Do you know what I mean? Because the clubs that are outside of this are going to get left by the wayside, and Daniel Levy's responsibility is to make sure that we don't. Do you know what I mean? So although I don't want this to happen, I hope it doesn't go ahead. I don't blame the club for going along with it, because it's almost like there was no other choice. And the other thing is UEFA and the Premier League, you know, coming out within hours but before the official announcements were even made, when it was just mainly rumors yesterday saying that, they'll sanction players not being able to play for their countries and they'll ban them from their domestic leagues and stuff like that. I find it disgusting that they come out within hours, but when it comes to racist comments or what was happening to Kamara the other day, it takes weeks. Players are getting banned. That Slavia Prague player got banned 10 games. Kieran Trippier's getting banned. 12 games for gambling or whatever it was. Like these, the reason I was saying earlier in that super chat that UEFA and the PL are the problem as well is because, do you know what? Part of me is like, do you know what? Fuck it. It's nice to see you lot get some of your own, bad will back, because you guys haven't been treating us right at all. You haven't. I know that they're doing it for the wrong reasons, but I'm not against there being a different competition if there was a way for other clubs to build themselves up and get in. Do you know what I mean? If it was done fairly and on merit, even if it was like, right, you get a 3-year cycle. We're going to start with these clubs for 3 years. Whoever performs the best in the league over those 3 years, you get chucked out. It's just, so I'm kind of like caught in two minds. I am actually happy that they're moving away from UEFA and FIFA, because I've hated those organizations for ages. They don't deserve anything from us. But I do actually think that what they've chosen to do, this fact that they're not going to have any relegation, anything like that, it's probably worse in the long run, and it does stink of a money grab.
Of course it does, Josh. But they're ripping out the essence of what it is to be a football fan.
Yeah,
the whole thing that we've grown up with, the whole reason why we've loved our football clubs is because of the competition, because of the sense of belonging, because of the sense of community of going to football, being with your own people. Going to the middle of buttfuck nowhere in Belgium, in France, in Spain, and seeing the whole sense of community being there. They're ripping that all out of the game. And I get your point in saying that, yeah, maybe it's right to move away from UEFA, move away from FIFA, and create a new tournament. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's kind
of nice to see UEFA and FIFA scrambling a bit.
Yeah,
that's the only good thing that's come out of it.
But to rip the whole competition out of the game is a joke. It's an absolute
power grab. Absolute power grab.
I totally agree. I agree with that, and I don't want it to come across like I am happy about this. I'm not. And my number one hope is that it's kind of like a what do they say? Unstoppable force against an immovable object. Like they both do kind of need each other. No matter how much power these big six clubs have, they're not allowed in any other competitions. It's not going to be good for them if they're just playing one midweek game against Juventus and whoever else is in it for the rest of the year. It's not. They're not going to have the same brand. So I'm hoping there's some sort of happy medium that happens, and like UEFA take a look at themselves, try and reform and actually behave like a responsible governing body, and then the clubs come back into it. But I don't know. I just can't believe that. You know how much I wanted Jose gone. We're not even talking about Jose.
Josh, does it matter right now? Like, yes, we know. Yeah, look, Jose was sacked this morning. But does this just stink of a PR stunt to you? Is that how it feels? Or like, does it matter right now that Mourinho's gone? Is it like, what does it even mean that him going? Does us getting out of Europe matter right now? Like, what matters?
It's so true. It's like, God, and poor Ryan Mason is probably going to have to answer questions about this Super League thing in his first press conference. That's going to be insane. But no, you're right. It doesn't matter at all. I don't know. It's very bittersweet at the moment, because I was happy that Jose's leaving, to be honest.
Look, Josh, I've jumped on your bandwagon. I've been Jose out now for the past week or 10 days, but right now I couldn't care less. I really couldn't. He's been sacked a week too early, by the way.
Yeah. Do you actually think this is going to go ahead, though? I can't imagine it happening. Like,
apparently, according to Sky Sports, they've signed a 23-year agreement. All these clubs, and apparently the clubs see themselves as not being able to be stopped. Dan Rohn from the BBC says that Man United and Real Madrid are the ringleaders of all this. There are three US-owned He says there are 3 US Premier League clubs who US-owned Premier League clubs who really mean this to go forward, and they are sold on the NFL model of closed league with star clubs and players driving up the value. Other clubs in the Super League see it as leverage over UEFA and are unhappy with the new Champions League format and the money shared amongst small clubs. Big clubs from struggling leagues in Spain and Italy agitating because their domination has produced boring football outcomes. Obviously, the COVID outbreak, and that's really hurt football clubs. So this gives them a lot of quick cash very quickly and more opportunity to build again. And they want control of the competition structure and revenue distributions. According to some sources, they see the fans of the clubs as legacy fans. They're getting towards more the future of fans and stuff like that. It's really like I'd look at the moment. I think it is going ahead. I don't see a reason why it isn't. I don't see anything stopping them at the moment. I really don't.
Well, look. I've got one. The funny thing is, Spurs, out of all those big clubs, we're probably benefiting the most from being in this. Number one, we're easily the smallest club in the competition. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I do know my Spurs history. I know we were like one of the first. I think the first British club to win a European trophy, and we do have a history. You know, we are a big club, but compared to these giants that we're being with in this Super League, we're still the smallest club in it. We've got so much debt that is instantly basically going to get wiped because apparently they're talking about a 400 million joining fee. We've got 600 million on the stadium left. That's, you know, that we're going to be able to pay it all off within a couple of years. So part of, not me personally, but some Spurs fans, maybe international Spurs fans, might look at it and think, wow, this is great for the club because the debt's gone. The other thing is, I've heard a lot of people saying that we won't spend because of this. Unlike the Glazers or Kroenke at Man United and Arsenal, in the research I've done anyway, maybe I need to take a deeper look, but I was under the impression that our boards don't actually take that much money out of the club. It's just that we don't necessarily spend the money that we earn on what we should. So, you know, we spent it on the training facilities and stadiums. We don't spend it on transfers. So,
and Daniel Levy's heavy bonuses every year.
Well, he's the highest paid chairman in the league, I believe, isn't he?
Yes, but those are like, you know, I think his moving into the stadium bonus was what, like 6-7 million or something like that.
Is
that right?
Yeah.
So like that doesn't really put a dent into, you know, their bonuses don't put that much of a dent into the actual revenue. So I think that rightly or wrongly, I think we'll have a lot more money to spend because ENIC are run like a business and they will put money back into the business. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't change anything. It's still going to be a soulless competition, load of rubbish. It's kind of funny seeing UEFA scrambling around, though, I must admit.
Yeah, I agree.
But who cares that we're going to be the best of? Who cares?
UEFA president has just made a statement, actually, just now.
Just before you go on to that, who cares what players we bring through the door if there's no competition?
It's true.
The UEFA president, Alexandra Seferin, has just made a statement saying the players that will play in the Super League will be banned from playing in the World Cup and the Euros. They'll not be allowed to play for their national team. That is his statement.
That's the Euros this summer.
That's the Euros this summer.
This whole thing is so fucked, man.
It's get a look. I don't know if it's an empty threat or what it is. It's just that's the statement he's just made just now. The UEFA president. So literally, it seems like every minute there's a new story, there's a new breaking news with this. But we'll keep everyone up to date with everything that's going.
We're gonna have to keep going because we've still got a lot of guests.
Cool.
But
look,
thanks for coming on. Brilliant points made once again.
Cheers.
Good to have your opinions, Josh. Speak to you in a bit. Harry Kane has tweeted, not about the Super League, but he has tweeted, where is it?
Thank you to Mourinho.
He has tweeted a thank you to me. I'll just share that quickly. Harry Kane, obviously, we all know he's been a big fan of Mourinho. There is his messages. Thank you for everything, boss. A pleasure to work together. I wish you all the best in your next chapter. That is Harry Kane's tribute to the outgoing Jose Mourinho, who has been sacked this morning, which somehow isn't the biggest news of the day. But there you go. That's Harry Kane tweeting about Jose Mourinho.
All right, let's keep going. We've got some guests to get through. Let's start off with Jack.
Jack Konecki, come
Jack, sorry, we're going to have to keep this short and sweet, but
Understandable.
have your say, my friend. Have your say.
It's gross. Like I feel gross. Like I don't know if I'll be able to wash kind of the filth of being kind of associated. I used to condemn kind of the city owners and the Manchester United owners of the past. And now that we're associated with them, I don't even know what to do anymore, really. And
Where
the
do
other
we go
thing
from
is,
here, Jack? Where do we go from here?
where we go from here is we play boring, tasteless football with.
As a fan base, I meant.
As a fan base, I don't know. I can't. Your guys' situation is far different from mine. Your guys' I can't even imagine what it could feel like to just have that taken away from you. That like sense of, you know, being a big club, going down to, I don't even know, like Nottingham Forest and seeing the fans, you know, banter you, and you know, you only pull out a 1-0 win and drive home. It's just like all of that is gone. All the meaning behind small football versus big football is gone. It's just like the worst part about it is just that there's so many teams involved in this that have been struggling and have been failing either business wise or just in their respective leagues or positions for years, like for countless years, and have been actually quite awful. But it's just that now that they have this kind of like free shortcut buyout to get out of it, to get out of this kind of like, you know, years without the Champions League, years without winning a league, years without any real success at all. And then they just get to screw over the likes of Leicester City and West Ham just because they don't have that celebrity name status or that hegemonic elitist status. And the fact that they're just going to preserve this like elitist status despite not actually being successful clubs in the last 10 years is just, it's gross. It's really gross.
Yeah, I agree, and for a fan who maybe is more used to this kind of model, like in over in the US with other sports, and I don't know. I think even in soccer in the US, there's no relegation, right? That's how it works. So what is your opinion on like the format, how it would work from an entertainment standpoint? Do you think it will get boring very quickly, that kind of thing?
I think it does. I mean, I play basketball. I love basketball, but I don't watch the NBA until the playoffs. And also there's this feeling that with the leagues being with no relegation, that there's more of a sense of competition because there's no sense of loss. There's no, you know, like teams can build more. It's not the case. Like in the US, especially, the teams that win in their respective sports are big major market cities. Like the Clevelands, the Cincinnatis, the working class, blue collar cities never win anything. And even if they do, it's once in every 10 years. It's the LAs, it's the New Yorks, it's the Dallases, it's the big rich cities of the US that win it every year. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be similar in this case to the Super League, even though they have to spend a certain amount and they all have a certain salary cap and whatever. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the same way, where certain cities like Milan and Barcelona are going to have much bigger appeal and much bigger draw than North London. And that's going to be the other situation I think we're going to have to get used to, is even with all this extra money, we might still be last in the pecking order for like teams that players want to actually go to.
Yeah, so absolutely true.
All right, Jack. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks
as always.
Thanks for
Sorry,
housing
it's a bit
us.
short. Sorry, it's a bit short and
refugees.
sweet today. Sorry, it's a bit short today, but
No problem.
Look, well, there'll be more opportunities for
There
fans.
will.
have
We're
they,
going to
for
be doing a
longer,
lot
but
of
we have
calling
been going
shows
for
this
nearly
week. I
3
tell you
hours
that.
at this point. So
Thank you for the opportunity.
no, thanks for coming on,
Cheers,
Jack.
mate.
See you.
See you in a bit.
Last couple of guests. Let's get
Bruno, by the way, Bruno Fernandez.
Oh, what's he said?
He has been on Instagram, and he said he has said basically the message. He's been replying to Daniel Podence's tweet about saying the ball, the song, the dream, and he says dreams can't be. But I think he means dreams can't be bought, is what he's saying. Bruno Fernandes. He's the first player really in the Super League that has kind of spoken out a bit in opposition, not the strongest message, but he has said dreams can't be bought. And he's absolutely spot on, Bruno Fernandes. So respect him for saying that. And I think he's absolutely spot on, Bruno Fernandes. So it's good to see the players can acknowledge that, like this isn't right at all. But yeah, let's keep going. Last few people.
All right, Anik. Let's get Anik on.
Hi, Anik. Oh, sorry, go on.
Anik, how's it going, mate? I think you're on mute. Don't worry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, Anik. Yeah.
Sorry, it's going to have to be a bit short today, but
I mean,
you have your say.
Yeah, personally, it's a bad day for me because Jose Mourinho is my favorite manager, and he is at my club. So it was a match made in heaven. Now that he's gone in this entire European Super League concept, it's very, very upsetting for me personally. And I think from now onwards, if this goes on, I could say that I was once a Tottenham fan, and I was proud to be a Tottenham fan. But now I don't know, because I have been watching football since 2005, and I used to stay up all night to watch the Champions League games. I mean, that feeling can never be replicated. Qualifying for the top four, going and challenging the league. No, this is unfair. Now we know that what Levy and Enik were up to. I am ashamed to be a Tottenham fan. I am ashamed that the hard work clubs like West Ham, Leicester, and they have done, we have discredited everything. They deserve to be there. It is not about money. We should go way back. Those who have built the club, it was even before I was born, it was even before Levy was born. It is their work. We have no right to take it away.
Exactly. Think of the great men like Bill Nicholson.
Yes.
That the club was built on his foundations and his ethos and what
All
he brought
these
to the club.
foundations and ethos have been put under the water.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not been to London, but what I know is the stadium lies in the heart of the city, and all the fans can see the stadium from their home. Just imagine the legacy fans, when we would go out of the home and see the stadium, will resent it. Why this has happened?
And I think a lot of fans are going to start feeling like that now. And I think a lot of fans are going to start resenting this stadium. I really believe that.
These things are killing football. These things are killing football. It's just not about money. Yeah, it's the pandemic. Everybody has suffered. We should stand for the other clubs as well. They are doing so much. It's a disgrace.
We all need to stand together right now, Anik. Not just Spurs fans, but fans of all clubs.
Yeah,
we need to stand together.
All fans should stand together, and we have our say. We have our say. It's not that only Enik and Levy has built the club. We are also there. We are also the founders of the club, and we are the club. You can't just sell us for some money.
Agreed.
Completely agree.
And that's what they're treating us like. We're just customers that can be lost and won, and that's it. And they don't give a crap about what any fan has to say. They're going to push forward with it seems. And
we are irrelevant in this. We are completely irrelevant.
And what I feel is the modern day fan, they would not understand how the club goes back. They should also retrospect on their thoughts and support the fact that this is not fair. This is not how football would survive. So everybody should be together. Yeah, I understand the financial prospects. Like, if you don't go on the bandwagon, you are losing a lot of money. But it's not about that. We as Tottenham were never built on those foundations. I understand Chelsea and Manchester City going. I have no complaints. But as Tottenham, no, we supported this club. We were not winning any trophies. We were still behind the clubs. We supported every decision. Pochettino took us to second. He got the sack because of the players. He wanted the players. No, you didn't invest in the players. We supported that. And this is what we get. This is not fair. This is just not fair. And
completely agree.
It's not his club. It's our club.
Absolutely right. And that's being taken away from us right now without any of our permission, without our say so, without even being consulted. And that is the most disgusting thing. But Anik, we have to move on. Thanks for coming on, giving your opinion. Appreciate your time and appreciate the Duff Day having Mourinho gone and the Super League as well. But appreciate you coming on. Cheers,
Thank
Anik.
you, boys.
See you in a bit. All right.
Let's go to Kev.
Hi, Kev.
How you doing, mate?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you. A lot of fans calling in from America today. But have your say. What do you think of the whole situation?
It's a terrible situation. I started following the club in 2017, and I just love the way that we played football. and it showed a lot of passion, and seeing the passion from the fans as well was just something that drew me in. And now that's being ripped apart from you guys, especially. And I've only had one opportunity to be at the stadium, and that was for the Champions League final when they were in Barcelona, and it was great. You saw a stadium full of people for players that weren't even there. You were just watching it on screens. And what do we do now from here?
I don't know, mate. It's being ripped out from us. The very essence of being a football fan now is being ripped away from us. And I really don't know where we go as a fan base from here. I really don't.
Yeah, it's very unfair to you guys too. Like, you guys are legacy fans for sure. I can't say that I'm a legacy fan. I could feel the passion of you guys, but I will not know the same experiences that you guys have going week in and week out to see the club. You know?
But do you? Where are you? Do you live in the US? Sorry, do you live in the
Yeah, I
US?
live in Boston. Yeah.
And so, what's your experience with kind of this franchise kind of led sport, which the Premier League's looking to turn into? Because we were talking to Will, and he was saying, because we're talking about how US sport a lot of the time they don't have relegation and promotion and these kind of things. And Will was saying how he really loved that element of the English game and hoped that the American sport would adopt that as opposed to the English sport adopting more Americanized versions of the sport with like franchises and like only like. All the top teams just playing against each other and have a monopoly on the sport. Like, what's your experience of that kind of stuff over in the US? Do you know if you enjoy it or not?
It's a terrible and boring format. I hate it. Honestly, that's the reason why I started watching English football, because it was way more entertaining, it was way more competitive. Seeing relegation for the first time and understanding how it worked, I was thinking to myself, that's amazing. That gives chances for the smaller teams to build up and become something. And it was funny because the other day I was listening to a podcast and they were asking me why I started watching football, and it was because there was too much advertising in American football or American sports rather. Sorry. And when I saw that there was only commercial breaks during the after the first half, I was like, this is amazing. Why don't they do this with all sports? And now that this is going to be a bastardized like incarnation of football, we're just going to see advertisements everywhere.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I don't want it.
John. Yeah, sorry, one sec, guy. One sec, Kev.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that's what it's going to turn into, and that's what everyone, their biggest fears are now being realised at the moment. What football is going to turn into, what this is done, and it's all due to greed, selfishness, and just everyone thinking about themselves, and that is the most disheartening thing. And all the people, everything that made football great seems is going to be left behind after this, and that is what we're most worried about. It's been really well. And Kev, quickly, what's your reaction to Mourinho being sacked as well? Because that's also big news as of this morning. Obviously, it's gone secondary to what's going on with the European Super League. But what are your thoughts on that?
Initially, I did not want him here, but I'm very thankful for everything that he's done. He showed us some very high highs and very low lows, but I think he could have accomplished more if the players were more for him. And there was actually just news that Danny Rose is willing to return to first team training now. So, of course, there was internal problems with Mourinho. So, you know, he's not the nicest guy, but sometimes brutal honesty is going to hurt more than lying to somebody, you know?
I completely agree, and I think players, as much as Mourinho has taken responsibility, I think a lot of the players do as well for him going. And look, I think unfortunately it had to happen. I do think that the timing is weird. 6 days before a cup final, I think you should give him that opportunity to at least compete for it and see if he can win it. But I think the writing. I think ever since Zagreb, the writing has been on the wall for me, and I think that's the situation. But I do think the timing is a bit of a PR move to distract from the Super League. That's my opinion. But Kev, look, it's been great having you on, giving your opinions. I do really appreciate your having you on, and we'll speak to you in a bit.
All right.
See you in a bit, Kev. Nice one.
All right, last two guests of the day. We got Brian up first. And then we got David, the Irish Hotspur, on to close off the show. Let's start off with Brian. Brian, first of all, I just want to say 100% spot on about Daniel Levy and about ENIC all the way through, mate.
Do you know what? I hate being wrong or right in this. Hate being right. It's been a 20-year progression to this. And as I tweeted to you a minute ago, I am ashamed and embarrassed to be a Spurs fan right now, and they are absolutely disgraceful. And Ben, believe me, if I was in London right now, I'd be making that banner with you. If I could swim to London, I would be doing it. I am absolutely appalled by these two absolute buffoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not just Spurs. Obviously, the 12 clubs have all banded together to create this Super League, and it
You know
does
what?
at
Let's
this
just bring
moment.
them both on together. I'm going to bring David on as well.
All right, let's bring David on as well. Let's have him say.
You
let's,
ready, David? Just nod if you're ready.
Yeah, he's ready. He's always ready. But hi, Dave. Good to see you as well, mate. It's a dark day for football today. Seeing what's going on, seeing the greed take over from the selfishness of the point of view of everything bad about football is being literally put together in this Super League, and it's going to turn into something very, very ugly at the moment, and it already has. And
bring on Jamie as well.
And Jamie as well. We'll have three of them. All right, let's have a bit of a discussion, all three of us. Hi, Jamie. You're right.
Hi, guys. Yeah, you go. Thanks.
But let's stick with Brian at the moment. In terms of the Super League, do you think that despite the opposition from a large set of the fans, that the fans in America or Canada, where you are, or in Asia, where in South Korea, there are even more Spurs fans in South Korea than there are in London? Like, will this affect their bottom line at the end of the day?
I'm sure. Well, Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis don't really care. I, for one, will not watch Tottenham in this league. If we go into this league and it's done, signed, sealed, I will not watch anything Tottenham Hotspur related. Before I go to that question, if you look at it, we've all been lucky, and I know Ben and Simeon, very similar to me, big Jewish following. I've grown up with my grandpa, and obviously your grandpa telling you great stories of when they went. My dad telling me amazing stories and how they love going to Spurs. And that's what we all live for. That's everything we live for, and want to pass those stories down. And in one foul swoop, they've just gone and killed it. They have just gone and absolutely eliminated it. I get to watch, and I've got bang into the NFL over here. I love the NFL. But they have this thing called the 2-minute warning, which has been brought out specifically so that the ad companies can get an ad break in. It's appalling. It's abhorrent. I'm just so wound up with rage. I'm going to be very careful what I say or do because, as we know, I could go off on these two. I'm actually speechless. I never thought these bastards could make me speechless, but they've gone and done it.
Yeah, I completely with you, Brian. I just don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. But let's come with you, Dave. Let's come to you, Dave. What's your initial thoughts on everything?
Look, first of all, it's Monday. It's the worst day of the week, and we get hit with a double whammy this morning. You know what I mean? They've just compiled the misery. The timing of the sacking is wrong. In terms of the Super League, look, it's just pure greed. It's disgraceful. It's everything that's wrong with society. It's everything that's wrong in the world right now, and it's everything that's wrong with football. Look, I was listening to a bit of what Gary Neville had to say last night, and he's right. Football does have to be protected from itself. Like even when Bury went and stuff like that, like. This should never happen. These clubs make money year in, year out. This should never happen where we're in a position where they should be dangling money in front of us and we're going to take it. First of all, they ask no fans. Yet all they've been doing, crying all along is, oh, we need fans back in the stadium because we need our money. Well, they've been saying that, but now they've done this. So it just shows us that they really couldn't give a shit about us. Really couldn't give a shit. I'm absolutely pissed off with it. Look, Daniel Levy and Enoch, honestly, just sell the club and go. I'm at this point. Like, you know, I brilliant on the business side in terms of stadium and everything else, but I'm at the point now. If they can just rip our club from our hearts like that, just take it away from us, just like that. You guys who go week in, week out, you're now expected to travel across Europe for games.
And
you know
eventually
what I mean?
it'll be across the world. Eventually you'll be having games in America, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Australia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, grand. They expect you to pay £1,000 quid for flights to get out there, and you know what I mean, and then go to the next game a few days later. It's an absolute joke. Look, to be honest with you, lads, drop the TV off the end of your name. We're going with a new club called We Are Tottenham for the fans. That's what should happen if this goes ahead, because this is an absolute joke. To not ask any fans, to not put it to any vote. These guys think they own football now. All these owners, they think they own football, and I'm not being funny. Look, personally, do I see it going ahead? Look, it probably will. It probably will. You know, it'll end up like that cricket league that they have, the IPL or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But for me, it should never go ahead. And being honest, every fan for every club should be outside their stadiums tonight protesting, and they should get rid of their owners. And if you have to do what Marseille done, where they start burning things down, I don't care. It's come to this point because at the end of the day, money, it's just pure greed. Like when has the good old fashioned of, you know, earn your stuff? Like, being honest, lads, we go into the Europe, if we go into that, we're going to be destroyed week in, week out. They're only bringing us along to make up the numbers. Like, at the end of the day, the only reason why they're forming this league is because the likes of all the traditionally what I grew up being European super clubs, they're being caught now by some of these smaller clubs. They're being caught by some of these smaller clubs. Like, you see the likes of West Ham up there this year putting their name in. Leicester won the league. Over in Spain, you have Atletico Madrid coming to the fore. Real Sociedad. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why they're doing it, is because they know that other teams now have a way and have found out a system, and with the right recruitment can catch them. And that's why they're doing it, because I think they're probably afraid that, you know, maybe another 10 years they might not be the superpowers that they once were. And to be honest with you, just thinks of greed, probably a bit of corruption in there as well. I'm not going to watch it if it gets to the point where you have all these American sports where you have ads every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I couldn't care about a Bud Light during the game. You know what I mean? I'm smoking Bud during the game. I couldn't give a shit about Bud Light. You know what I mean? I could not give a rat's arse. It pisses me off. And to be honest with you, lads, like I said last week, you know, I was getting a bit fed up with this season. I just wanted to end. To be honest, I just want it over now. And look, I don't know where we go from here, lads. It's a club with no direction.
The thing is, Dave, I completely agree with you. I want this season over as soon as possible, but I don't even want to see the start of next season.
No, neither do I. That's the thing. Look, football for me, it's dead if this happens. Whatever happened to the good old, you know, you earn what you get. Relegation, promotion, winning the league, you know, winning the FA Cup or the League Cup.
That's the appeal. That's the appeal of the game.
Yeah.
This is the thing. But lads, right, when I grew up, I was surrounded by Liverpool United fans, and I was sick of watching them in Europe all the time, right? And even if you came to me back then and said, we're going to create a European Super League, you don't have to earn your right to be in it, would you take it? I would have said no. And I was hanging for Tottenham just to see them in the European, like hanging for it, right?
Yeah.
But I would much rather be there knowing we've earned it rather than just being given it, because all we're going there to do is make up the numbers and be a bottom half of that league.
Completely agree. But let's go on to Jamie. Let's see what he has to say on the matter. Jamie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, guys, I totally agree. I think it's a big disgrace, and you know, it sickens me that we've got to that stage now. But I think it's been a long time coming. You know, I think over the years, when you start seeing these Asian tours and mini tournaments, you know, like Liverpool's been in, I think, you know, it was just bound to happen. And I think what a lot of people say a good point is, you know, like when they say when they was young and, you know, the history. But however, you know, it's a new generation. They know they're aiming it at the younger people now. Because, you know, if you have children that are growing up, they're not going to remember the old days or anything, you know, unless obviously your parents or grandparents tell you. So I think they're very clever. I think, you know, a 23-year sign up, if that's true, you know, they're going to look at the next generation, you know, kids who are like 5 now starting to support teams. Because if you look at kids today, you know, they all wear Barcelona shirts or whatever. So I think, and they want to see the big games. So I think that's really going to impact them more. So I think they're kind of like forgetting the later generation. And I think the way it's just going, and also abroad, you know, I can't speak for, you know, Americans or in Asia, but again, they wouldn't know, you know, going to the games, the history, you know, it's a different kind of culture. So they know something. They must know, you know, with the revenue and what people want to watch, and they see like other sports in America. So I think they know, you know, they wouldn't do it if they knew they weren't going to make billions out of it. But yeah, it's totally greedy. I think it's totally wrong. And to be honest, when we got the new stadium, a part of me felt like this is the beginning of a change, you know, because you remember the old stadium. It wasn't about how big a stadium was. It was just going to the
It
game.
was just about pure passion in that old stadium. That's what it was all about. Pure
The
passion,
only thing
win,
that's
lose,
changed
or
is the
draw.
capacity. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So a part of me, I know it's exciting. You get a new stadium. It was brilliant, and yeah, they kept the closeness in it. But part of me kind of died, and I missed the old stadium. All my memories mostly come from there, and you're never gonna have those nights again. And we was always chasing that big dream. But now it's like we're still obviously not the biggest club, but we're becoming like, the Man Uniteds and all that. We're going down that commercial, that business route.
But we have no right to be there. We have no right to be there with the amount of silverware we've had over the last 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, I think Levy's, he's a clever businessman. I think the stadium plays a huge role. We're playing NFL games. They all talk. They're all friends. He's the man to do that kind of thing. Yeah, it's good on one side, for the money side, but they don't care. Like, say, fans, whether they're in the stadium or not, we're like the mugs that go and pay our money, hard-earned money. And look at the players. The players don't care. They're not going to disagree, because you got people like Gareth Bale take away his, what he can do on the pitch. But if he's like saying, yeah, I'll go to China, if that means I get more wages, or yeah, I'll go to Spurs, but as long as I get the same wages, then, what's that going to tell about the other players, So I just feel like, they're all
I just hope there's enough players out there who feel that they're like Bruno saying, you can't buy dreams, who still feel that competition is important, who still feel that the football is about the dream, which you grow up believing you can do, and taking it away from so many clubs and so many players. It's disgraceful. There's another quote now that's just been aired on Sky Sports News from this so-called board member that Sky Cava is saying, and he apparently, in response to UEFA, the UEFA president, saying that all players will be banned who are competing in the Super League from international football. Apparently, this board member said that clubs who participate in the Super League don't mind if their players can't play for their country, as it will mean that they just have to play less games.
Look,
Like, what is your response to that,
look,
Brian? Go on, David.
No, just quickly before Brian comes in, just in response to that, look, these players aren't enough, especially at Tottenham Hotspur, and they still can't go out and give us a performance, let alone giving them more money. You know what I mean? They don't deserve it. What do they deserve it for? But sorry, Brian, I don't mean to be taking your limelight now. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. It just goes to show, now you'll see the true value of Tottenham play, or all the players, because you have someone like Harry Winks, who all he's been talking about is, oh, I want to play for my country, I want to represent my country, it's my country this, is my country that. If they do this and they're banned, Harry Winks, if he don't come out, or one of these players that go banging on about international football and say, do you know what, I'm against this because I can't play for my country, it will just go to show them what money-grabbing waste of human beings they are, that all have jobs that we would do for a fraction of the cost they get. This will show the men from the boys. If Harry Winks, just using him as an example because he's used it, does not come out and say, I'm against this because it means I can't play my country, then he's an idiot. He's an even bigger idiot than we think. And when it comes to the manager, just very quickly, it just goes to show how demented Daniel Levy is, because he hires a manager that he wanted to win a trophy. Whether we wanted him out or not, and it got to the point now after the Everton game, I wanted him out. But you sack the most glory, or the most cup, the most, oh, I'll get so annoyed. The manager that's won the most trophies, and you sack him before a final. This is the hypocrisy of our football club. It's absolutely, I would say shocking, but that wouldn't be the word. It's disgraceful. Disgraceful.
Brian, do you think that they announced the sacking today to cover up this whole, so people wouldn't start speaking about the Super League even more, take people's minds away?
Yeah, but that's just the idiot. That's just the brainwaves of Daniel Levy showing what an absolute 24-carat gold weapon he is. I mean, I said all week last week, all I wanted was a day where Spurs weren't in the press for something stupid, whether it be Pogba, whether it be Dulux, whether it be whatever it had been. And now, within 24 hours, they do this. They don't care. Joe Lewis is leaving Bermuda right now and going to hide somewhere else. Levy can go hide under the rock that he comes from. It's just all a goddamn lot. There's no cover up. And then they, as I heard during this stream about the blooming COVID thing that they're going to try and do. Yeah, all right, brilliant. You're doing COVID. We are a disgrace, and I'm embarrassed and ashamed to be called a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now. I really am.
There apparently they've got Football London have released a list of names of clubs who were offered to join the Super League but turned it down, and the list goes at Ajax, Bayern Munich, Benfica, Borussia Dortmund, FC Porto, Napoli, PSG, RB Leipzig, Roma, and Sevilla.
Well done, those players. Well done. Well done. That's what everyone should have done. That's what everyone should have done. This is just absolutely. Football is the working man's game, and it is our game. And they just don't care about us. They don't care about the season ticket holders like yourselves. They don't care about the fans that live abroad that have just loved. They just have wiped everyone out. And do you know what? I can't. I'm just ashamed, and I never thought I'd say that.
I know, very interesting as well. The UEFA president talking about Ed Woodward specifically, and he said, "I've been a criminal lawyer for 24 years, but I've never seen people like that." He said Ed Woodward called him last Thursday to say how he was satisfied with the reforms of the Champions League, having already signed an agreement to join the Super League.
What
he said he'd never seen a snake like that.
Ben, I'm completely with you. Ben, I'm completely. What I will say is we are doing a Tottenham away today at 3 p.m. our time, 8 p.m. your time. Ben and Sim, if you can get on at some point, we'd love it. Anyone that can get on, because it's going to be fireworks, and I think I will be a lot more rageful during that stream.
Yeah, well, we'll do our best. Obviously, we've got a lot of work cut out for us the rest of the day, and I do want to get down to the stadium at some point today as well. So. Look, we'll see what can be done. But are there any closing thoughts from you, Jamie?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, even though you kind of see it going this way, I'm still shocked it's happening, and I think it's a real dark day in football, and I think the future of football's changed, and it's really sad. It's interesting, like you say, if you get banned for your country. Now, I remember Harry Kane was saying, they asked him, what would you rather win, the Premier League or the World Cup? And he was saying, the World Cup is something special. Now, can you imagine him, like, not playing for England? It's just crazy. It's destroyed everything. It's all upside down now.
Well, now Harry Kane might actually go to PSG. It might actually be a viable option for him now to go to PSG. No Super League. Poch's manager.
Yeah.
Can play for his country. It might be a very viable option now.
Yeah, because last time I was on, I really thought I was saying he's a one-man team, he'll stay, but that's all gone now, because he'll look at that and say, well, where's the loyalty, where's the tradition? So, yeah, it could change everything now. And, it's just, I don't know what to say. It's just really, really sad. And I think it's just changed the life. I know COVID has obviously changed all our lives, but this is just another bigger step, and it's just
it worries me what's coming next as well, because there's something always round the corner these days, it seems like.
Exactly, you don't know what's next. And again, I go back to what I was saying in the beginning, the next generation, they won't know any of this, and I really feel it will all be about money, and I feel sorry for the next generation, the way it's going. And I think they won't remember football how we remember it. And that's
we've got a super chat here from Rob Smith saying, regardless what people think about Jose Mourinho, he deserved that cup game. Show some respect. What do you make out of that, David?
No, look, first of all, I want to say thank you to Jose. Look, he came in at times when it was bad times. Pochettino was after getting sacked. Look, he didn't deliver what he came here to do, but he didn't have all the tools either. I firmly believe he tried everything in his power, different formations, so many different players coming in and out to try and get a song out of this current group. And anyone that thinks all the problems are gone now, Jose is sacked, I'm just going to say you're sadly mistaken. I'm still going to be talking about the same things next season about some of these players. Just get back to so I just want to say thank you to Jose. Look, it hasn't worked out. I did say after the Everton game, writing was on the wall, it was. But he should have been given the cup final. But I just want to say two things quickly on the board. So the reason why Jose was sacked today, and I agree with you lads, is because ENIC are trying to save face and trying to take the attention off them on the Super League. And the reason why I firmly believe that is because when you go back to when they furloughed, and they were furloughing club staff, the backlash they got, and when it started coming out in the media and in the press how much they were actually worth, straight away reversed the decision. Straight away to save face, because they don't want negative press about them. And they've done the exact same today. And in terms of all these clubs that have fought for this European Super League, should be absolutely ashamed of yourselves. And I'll tell you why. Because all you've done for the last 10 years is preach how football is for everybody. No matter race, rich or poor, no matter what. All you've done is preach football is for everybody. And this decision today, this decision, what it's done is it's took away the football from the poor people and the working class man, and it's taken it to the very elite and the very rich people. And they should be ashamed of themselves. So any message they have sent out, they have now gone against. Football is not for everybody. It is not for everybody. It's for the people with the money. They couldn't give a shit about anybody else.
Completely spot on. Any closing words from you, Brian?
Yeah, no, first of all, I just wanted to say, and I've got a lot of, I want to just say big up to Lee Judges, because Lee Judges is a fantastic guy to listen to. He really does speak the truth. Obviously, we have the rivalry, but he speaks complete sense. And just, do you know what, like David just said, if everyone thinks it's all ended because Jose's gone, and as I've been saying the whole time, this ain't the end. This is just the beginning. We thought we couldn't sink any lower. Well, you'll be dreaming that we were this low within a few weeks, months, because it's only going to get worse whilst these buffoons are in the club. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Look, I think all three of you absolutely spot on. We'll be back on live pretty shortly. I mean, we'll come on at some point today or tomorrow. We'll carry on this conversation. But right now, we've got a lot of work cut out for us. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jamie, David, and Brian for coming on today.
Anytime, brother.
Cheers for coming on, guys.
And we shall speak soon.
Okay, take care,
See you
boy.
lads.
Put my
See you
name on
guys
that
in a bit.
banner. Put my name on that banner.
Your name will be
See
on
you
the
later.
banner. Don't worry, Brian.
See you later.
Cheers, mate. All right. So that is a monstrous 3 hours and 20-minute stream.
And apparently there's a guy right now at Hotspur Way holding up a sign. I'll show it.
Well, maybe we should go there.
There is now currently a guy out Hotspur Way as we speak. Let's see if I can show it. Holding up a say no to Super League.
Yeah.
Right outside Hotspur Way. And that is what we should be doing. That's absolutely right.
I need to get off this stream. We need to go somewhere and make our voices heard even more than they're being heard right now. But look, thank you
Say
everyone
no
for
to
joining
Super
us
League.
today. That is a monstrous stream for you guys. Absolutely a shambles what is going on in the game of football right now. A shambles what is going on. I just can't. It's an absolute disgrace, and I just can't say any more than that. I'm lost for words at times. But look, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you all for watching.
This is not the last you've heard of this, trust me.
This is definitely not the last you've heard of this. But like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, I don't even want to say it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off, Levy.
Bring back football.